What's going on? I am Nando.
And I am DJ.
And I am Diggins.
And this is Mostly Nitpicking, a podcast where every week we pick apart a piece of pop culture by looking exclusively at the details. Woohoo!
Woohoo! Yay!
This week, Stop the Count. Stop the Steal. Dominion. Jurassic World Dominion. It's finally here. The movie that everybody knew they shouldn't have made, and they, maybe they proved us right.
They thought so much about whether they could, they didn't stop that, etc. You know.
Yeah. It really is incredible how much that has been how much that has applied to this franchise,
Yeah.
It's sort of baffling, honestly, the lack of self-awareness there, but also, Hollywood and stuff.
And money, right?
Yeah, and Universal, I think, is one that I don't usually trust with, stuff like this, with, not, bleeding a franchise dry. Fast and Furious, Minions, all that stuff. Yeah.
Are you going to suggest the owners of the Fast and Furious franchise don't know when to stop?
Exactly. And listen, there's something about, going further than you even should to find something that's even dumber and kind of special. Speaking of that, I've read a good review the other day for that new Minions movie that's the Minions parts are dumb, but everything else is cool. So, maybe that is how you just got to keep pushing through. But, man, you're 1 for 6. We'll get to it. But before that, you guys, we got news.
Yeah.
Diggins has a news, and I have a news. These are newses of the week.
So much news.
Diggins, what's your news?
My news concerns a little film that you guys covered before I was part of this podcast, although I did see it because of a deep self-loathing I have. We got a few rumors and announcements about a little film called Joker 2.
Oh my god, I forgot all about that.
Boy, oh boy.
Yeah, let us down gently.
We got two pieces of information about this, which I'm going to hit you with the less crazy one first, and then the crazier one second. So just keep in mind, when you hear this first piece of information, it is the less crazy piece of information.
Oh, boy.
They are in talks to have Harley Quinn in the movie, played by Lady Gaga.
Oh, my gosh. That's perfect?
Coming out
I don't know.
House
Wow.
to Gucci.
Yeah.
She's already worked with one Joker. Now she's going to work with the other one.
Hey,
That's
Mr.
true.
J!
Yeah, that's true. She's from, Long Island, right? Or something?
Something like that. I think she's a New Yorker.
Yeah, so that voice, she could do that weird Harley Quinn voice that doesn't exist outside of, cartoons and stuff as naturally as anyone could.
You can find it somewhere in the depths of Brooklyn being spoken by, men in their 60s, but it's not common.
Yeah. So as far as news goes, unsurprising, I would say. The fact that she's involved is a little weird, but the money truck, and also, I don't know, she's not particularly, she's not good at picking her projects, because she's had some quality ones, but she's not one of those actors I feel that only comes out for the best of the best. So I can see it.
Yeah.
What's the other news?
The reason why Lady Gaga is being cast is related to the second piece of news, which is that Joker 2 is going to be a musical.
No.
Yeah, so...
No.
I don't buy it. I don't know, there's something...
With Joaquin Phoenix? Well, I guess he did do Walk the Line. So
yeah.
he can sing.
He can sing.
Yeah. Listen, I'm reporting the news. Unlike those guys in the newsroom telling that pilot about 9/11.
9/11, yeah,
Osama
exactly.
bin Laden or whatever. I'm just reporting the news here, folks. Joker 2 is going to be a musical.
I'm not saying I don't believe you. I'm saying I don't believe Todd Phillips. I feel it's going to be a musical the same way that, I don't know, Emperor's New Groove is a musical, where there's, a number or two, but, it'll still mostly just be the same bullshit that Joker 1 was.
What if it'll be a musical, what he means is that we're going to have, 7 scenes of him dancing down the stairs set to a song that really doesn't fit the tone of the scene at all.
Right, yeah, by, some sort of pedophile, right? I think that guy is. I don't know. I think that's true. Someone look that up. Not like you guys. It's that song. I want to say it's Gary Glitter. I think was famously a pedophile. I watched that documentary about that other famous British pedophile, Jimmy Savile, And there's one point where him and Gary Glitter are together, and it's like, I think it's supposed to read as like, oh boy, the big two.
How do you think pedophiles find each other? Do you think they have a sense? Like you can.
Well, there's the list.
There's the list. Yeah, you have to introduce yourself to everybody else in the neighborhood. So then it's like that's how you.
No, but I mean like these famous pedophiles who like have never been arrested.
Right.
Like, how do they find each other?
Good question. I mean, speaking of Dominion
great.
voting
This
machines,
is amazing.
I have a whole
This is
conspiracy
amazing.
theory that kind of links all the pedophiles. Of the world.
Wow, I think that's the first time I've ever brought up a topic that you guys just really, really didn't want to touch.
Well, okay, so I do want to look this up in case someone is curious.
Oh my god!
In the late 90s, he was arrested and convicted on child pornography. And then he was also charged at the same time, but acquitted of sexual activity with an underage girl in the 70s. And all kinds of stuff like that. Like, it just kept going. So, yeah. That's the person that did that song. That's like the one that seems like it's from Space Jam, where he dances down the stairs. So, little history lesson. Yeah, what do you think of this, guys? Do you think this movie will be good this time instead of bad?
No, absolutely not.
Do you think it'll be? What do you think? What kind of? What do you think the musical, like the movie, will be?
That's the confounding part. Is this right after they set like Gotham on fire and Bruce's parents were killed?
Oh yeah, are we gonna have a Batman in this one?
Or is it like gonna be one of those things where it's like, oh, it's a surrealist thing, he's in an insane asylum and it's a musical in his head?
No, it's the romance between him and Harley. That's why they're casting Harley. It's him in the asylum seducing Harley, and then them breaking out together, and that's why it's a musical, because it's a love story.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the question is like, does that breakout happen halfway through the movie or at the very end of the movie? Because then, does he ascend to being the clown prince of crime in the movie? What do you think? What movie do you think this will take inspiration from? Big fat air quotes.
Let's see. What else has Scorsese made?
New York. New York is the musical one, I think. So that one probably.
Oh, so I guess probably.
Yeah. But yeah, it's probably not gonna be. I don't know. I'm not excited. For it. But it might be kind of weird, but probably not.
So what I'm hoping for... Oh, New York is even a musical romance. Of course, yes, that's what it's going to be.
Yep.
What I'm hoping for is that instead of just being, like, really self-serious and stupid, this one will be, like, outrageously, ridiculously stupid to the point of being funny. And then it'll still be bad, but I'll have a better time watching it.
That would be nice. And that's possible, You're going to have to, take some wild swings. So maybe that is what we'll get. Probably not, though. It'll probably just be dumb. I don't know. Is there anything you would want to actually see from these movies besides Harley Quinn? Any plot points or things like that?
Well, if it's
like cancellation.
if it's a full blown musical, I want to see the whole Rogues Gallery. I want to see him do a number with like the Riddler and Penguin and Mr. Freeze and
God.
Clayface.
Who are the Joker verse actors who play those roles?
I can't even.
I mean, if they're all musical figures, then like.
Yeah, it's like...
Which one is Harry Styles?
Yeah, that's one of them for sure. Nick Jonas. Good golly gosh.
Yeah, I mean, like...
Which one is played by every single member of BTS?
Well, they're free now because they're going on hiatus. Hey, maybe that's what this is leading up to. BTS just plays
every non-Joker villain in Joker 2.
Yeah, like, you remember that one episode of the animated series where Clayface split up into, like, 5 kids to rob people on Christmas? Maybe that. Maybe, like, the BTSs will all be Clayface as different guys.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there are so many musical theater-y actors that, like, Hugh Jackman, where does he fit into all of this,
Oh, yeah.
Could he be the Batman of this universe? And just...
Nah, I think he'll be Alfred.
I think they have an Alfred, right? I guess they could recast him, but that's the only part of this I think that actually exists. He could be Wolverine. That would be fun. just have him show up. Like, hey, it's me. Whatever. You don't care. Nobody cares. I'm here now.
Bub.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, so that's good news, Diggins. You want to see my news?
Absolutely, I do.
It's a picture but I feel like when I say it, but so like you guys will see it, and then I feel like all of our other
Yeah!
listeners know what this picture is. DJ, so Diggins seems to have seen it. DJ, have you seen this yet?
This is my first time seeing it. I'm kind of taking it all in.
Oh my god, it's fantastic! Can you describe it to the listeners?
Yeah. So okay, I want to say what the tweet is. This is the whole tweet. So it's Warner Brothers Pictures. Begins #Barbie, July 21st, 2023, only in theaters. And then it's a picture of Ryan Gosling's Ken in a denim vest with denim jeans. The picture is actually, if I click, is it the whole photo? No, it's like cut off at the thigh. He's got the blonde hair with like the light kind of 90s like comb over with like a little more on top and then a little bit hair underneath, like platinum blonde.
I believe we call that a tousling. It's tousling.
Tousling, thank you. Got the one eyebrow action going on, and I think the biggest thing from this photo is, so it's no shirt, it's just the denim vest, so we get to see that beautiful six-pack, hiding the nips, can't see the full pecs, hiding the nips, we get to see the arms.
Ken shouldn't have nips.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true. But I think the biggest thing is that it's he has these boxers, I guess, with that say Ken on them. I'm like, is that Calvin Klein? Because like the font kind of looks like it, but it just says Ken.
Yeah, I think that's what they're going for.
Guys, what are the odds that in this movie at one point Ryan Gosling pulls down his pants and underwear, revealing the smooth, featureless surface beneath his pants?
I wouldn't put it past them, but also I feel like if anything, they'll talk about it, but like that's what remember they did that on that one episode of Black Mirror when they all did Star Trek? They all had remember that?
I never really watched Black Mirror. So.
Oh, they did one episode where they were Star Trek, and then just like the characters were talking. Like it was weird. They were in a computer, of course, because it's Black Mirror. That was made by someone who had like trapped them there, and then they were like, and we're all stuck here. None of us have genitals, and like they pulled down their pants, like what you're describing. I think there's a possibility. I don't know.
And then the twist of the episode was that they were in the Warner Brothers movie Barbie.
Yeah, I think. I mean, I love this picture. I think it's a terrific energy for this movie. I think the picture of Margot Robbie was good, but that was kind of exactly what you expected. I think there was a little bit of like, what are we going to get with Ken? What are we going to get from the non-Barbie characters?
The sleeveless, shirtless Canadian tuxedo is a bold choice.
Yeah, and I'm hoping there will be 50 like insane outfits for every character to wear. Like they're constantly changing clothes, so this is just one of a million fits.
I believe there is no character in this movie who is wearing the same outfit in two different scenes.
Yeah, I'd be upset. And I think there's even supposed to be multiple Kens and multiple Barbies, I think I read. Like Simu Liu is another Ken. Yeah. And I think that's true. I don't remember who else is in it, but some of the other people. Yeah, this can't come soon enough. It's a year plus away, which is a little upsetting.
Yeah, bummer, right?
Yeah, but does look great. Also, Black Adam had a trailer or something, but this is really.
Oh yeah,
this is really what the.
Yeah, I saw that trailer today when I went to see the movie that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, I mean, what we've like Black Adam, Barbie, and Joker 2, all Warner Brothers property, so they're really doing all the different options. Great things that are fine, things that will probably be bad, and who knows which is which. But yeah,
real quick on a Warner Brothers note. So they were supposed to have 4 movies come out this year, right? It was supposed to be Batman, Black Adam, Aquaman, Flash, right? We're all supposed to come out this year, according to that AMC trailer that was in every movie for a little bit.
Don't forget The Rock Super Pets, which is technically a this year movie, I believe.
That's true. So let's just go with the DCEU movies. Are they going to go like 50% on movies that were supposed to come out this year?
I forget. Because, what's the story with Aquaman? Has that been pushed?
Not yet, but no, wait. Aquaman has been pushed.
Yeah.
It's the Flash that hasn't yet been pushed.
Oh,
but
no, the Flash is pushed to next year in July. That one got pushed so far back. No, you're right. Like it was supposed to be like 2 of them have been pushed: Aquaman and Flash.
Okay.
But Aquaman got replaced by Shazam. So Shazam 2 is coming out this year. So there's still 2 for 4 on movies. They said they will releasing this year.
Right.
However, there will be a 3rd movie to make up for it.
That they were just like, we can't be this incorrect, so I guess this is the outcome.
Yeah, that's December 16th, so we'll see. Because they're still delaying movies, so nobody knows.
That's true, yeah.
Because I also saw another news that I kind of thought of bringing up, but didn't, was they showed a picture from Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse where Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and Spider-Gwen are fighting the Spot. And the Spot is like a villain made of portals.
Spot? The 7-Up mascot from the 90s? I mean,
not too dissimilar in look. In terms of just his circle, like the spots are his whole deal. But he is I guess he looks more like Pepsi Man if we're talking about soda branded superhero mascots. But yeah, the Spot's one of those really obscure Spider-Man villains who people are always like, he should be doing better than he is. His power is very good, and he uses it for nothing. But that was cool. So yeah, Warner Brothers is a big old mess. But I don't know. Maybe
nothing has changed.
Maybe the hierarchy of the DC universe is about to change.
That's true.
Well, hold on though, Nando. Would you say that Warner Brothers is doing better or worse than Universal?
Exactly. This is the thing, and this is what I always say when people complain about the Marvel movies. They probably shouldn't be the main thing in all of pop culture. But the alternatives are not that great. Like someone else needs to step up. I would love to see it exist, but then you get shit like this, and it's painful.
It's a real Luigi wins by doing nothing situation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's on the table for all these other properties to come in and just fucking try, but
yeah,
nope.
There's no reason that that these movies, like a Jurassic World movie, well, we'll talk about it, but should be what it is. But it is what it is instead. It's insane.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jurassic World Dominion, we got to talk about Jurassic World Dominion.
We do.
So here's what we're going to do. We have changed the rules. Who wants to explain this? DJ, I think you brought it to our attention.
I did. So, I guess I'll name parties nameless, I guess, right? Is that how we do things?
I don't know.
Absolutely. We refuse to give credit to anyone who suggests improvements to this show. That'll teach him to think that we'll get better at anything.
That's a good point. So someone had suggested that because, we did Jurassic Park 3 last week, and to get in that full, pod goodness experience, that maybe just to give a brief, 5-minute plot summary of what happens, just to kind of get everyone on the same page for, especially when we do older movies, and out of nowhere, right? Like, no one was ready for us to do Jurassic Park 3. We gave no warning unless you...
They didn't vote for it, that's for sure.
Yeah, so there was just, no way for you to know to watch Jurassic Park 3 ahead of time. So, we had this suggestion, we thought it was a good one, that the loser of the IMDb B as in spelling bee will have to give, in their own words, a quick plot summary of the movie, just to get us all on the same page.
Yeah.
And we're going to do that.
Specifically, this is because we're doing the wheel now, because we used to just go through the movie and
right.
more or less, and now it's more jumping around and not necessarily describing the plot.
And this could change whenever we want to.
Just like everything about the podcast. It's all vibes here. There's no structure. There's no rules. We don't think about how to make this a better product. It's just whatever comes out of our mouths when we sit down.
No.
Just DM us what you think. Mine are open, so you could just say shit. I don't care. Just throw whatever in there.
Yeah.
You heard it here first. You guys got any ideas you want to pitch to DJ? Any at all? It doesn't have to be about the podcast. In fact, I'd prefer if it's not about the podcast. Just pitch. You got that novel you've been thinking about writing? Pitch it to DJ. A screenplay you've been working on and off, pitch it to DJ. Just whatever comes into your mind.
Yeah, it'll go nowhere, but go for it.
Yeah.
Yes, and here.
So we got that going for us, which is great. Like DJ's inbox thing. But then also, we got this new thing. So we finally have consequences for the loser, which is fun. Love some
Which is
good
what we were missing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the loser
Instead of
will...
just being I'll lose twice.
The loser will be shot.
Yeah. Well, we won't be shot. The loser will be laser pointer. We all know what that means. Bad things will happen to the loser.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So, who is in charge of the IMDb summary today?
Oh, I think Nando. You know who's in charge.
Who is it?
It's this guy right here.
Oh, my God. Incredible.
I get to go. Yeah.
A man talking a lot of smack for someone who's won half as many of these as the other two.
Oh, yeah, Roger tweeted us the stats, and now this is going to be a whole thing, because Nando and Diggins are in a dead heat for IMDb supremacy.
Oh, yeah,
what
that's
is it?
Right.
9-8 or something like that.
That sounds about right.
Forget which one of you is in the pole position.
Diggins
I think you'll find that I'm number one right now, as one might could say would be natural, expected. Any number of words that mean those things.
Well, this will be my opportunity to tie it since me and Diggins are going up against each other. So
That's true.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense, too, since we're cheating as a group. Like, this is,
Yeah.
me
Oh
and
my
Diggins
gosh, yeah.
That we would just be
trading
trading off wins.
Yeah,
back and
every
forth.
so often we give DJ one to, like, make it seem legit. And, yeah, it's a good system. But, so, yeah, DJ is in charge this week. Incredible stuff.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, every week we do the IMDb B as in spelling bee, where we get the summary from IMDb for the movie, and the two contestants must guess. Funnily enough, the way they get this summary from IMDb is that they take an extinct IMDb summary that's been dead for like hundreds of thousands of years, and what they do is they clone DNA from a similar IMDb summary. And then they get like a new IMDb summary, and then that IMDb summary makes a new IMDb summary all on its own, and that's the IMDb summary that they use for the movie.
DJ,
Incredible.
So, yeah.
I want you to ballpark it for me. How long ago did dinosaurs live?
Fuck, I knew I fucked this up.
Oh, wait, what did he say?
Well, I wasn't
number-wise?
talking about... I wasn't talking about dinosaurs. I said just a species was
Yeah,
extinct.
no, unrelated question. DJ, ballpark it for me.
Hey, how long dinosaurs have been extinct for?
How long ago did they live, generally?
Okay, all right. So, would you guys prefer I talk this out or just give you a number?
Let's throw a number at us.
Whatever you're feeling.
Okay. I think, all right. They weren't around when humans were around.
I mean,
So
some museums will tell you that, but those are lying.
So, I want to say that they went extinct 5 million years ago.
I don't know.
DJ,
Was I that close?
I would have
Was I
accepted
hilarious?
any, because I just asked when they lived, generally, I would have accepted any answer between approximately 243 million years ago to approximately 66 million years ago. Which
Yeah, I was
really?
gonna say
incredibly
that-
off.
That long?
That one
That
year I
long?
always hear is 65 million year. I don't know if that was like in the marketing for Jurassic Park 1, but that's always my like number of years since dinosaurs.
What does that number mean?
That's
The
when they all-
65 million years ago is when dinosaurs went extinct.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I think the subheading for like the tagline for Jurassic Park 1 was an adventure 65 million years in the making. That feels right.
interesting.
So I think that's why I know that.
So you're saying I'm impossibly wrong.
I mean, you
you're
got the millions.
60
I was worried. It
You're
could have been much
60
worse.
million years wrong.
It could have been hundreds. You know, it could
Well,
have been,
he
yeah.
started with hundreds of thousands, which is why I made him do this.
Nope, I was just saying a species that was extinct for that long. I wasn't specifying which.
That's true.
Species was,
Plenty of
it could have been
birds and
anything.
stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
dropping
Yeah,
like
could,
flies.
yeah.
The
Could
dodo
even
bird,
be humans.
Oh my
Oh.
god.
Can't wait till we go extinct. We deserve it at least.
Oh, yeah.
I fucking can't.
We'll be
wait.
the first extinct species that deserves it.
Yeah.
It's like these guys, like whatever race or like species comes next in 65 million years will be like, yeah, these guys, of course they went extinct.
Yeah, like it'll be like it's besides deserving it for being bad, we also definitely deserve it for being dumb. Like we deserve it both ways. Where it's it's almost insane we've gone this long.
It actually would be almost like if it was a meteor that took us out, it would be like weirdly like less fun because it's like, well, it wasn't really their fault, but they deserved it. So
That would be a good metaphor for something though. A meteor. You know,
yeah,
I don't know what it would be.
yeah,
It's so clever.
Oh, gosh.
It's so unusual.
yes. And
I'd
not
love
really
to
done.
see Leonardo DiCaprio fuck Kate Blanchett and then think about it, you know, and be like, this is what the meteor is about. This is a good
I
way
would
to
love
tell this story.
Just be present for that. Spritz them down sometimes when they request it. You know.
I think it's important. Man, remember that movie was like 6 months ago, maybe?
Ugh,
Right?
God.
Well, more
Feels
than
like it
6
was-
months ago because it came out last year.
Yeah, but wasn't it like December of last year? It was.
think so, yeah.
I feel like it was really late in the year.
Yeah, it was.
And like,
little
upsettingly
Christmas
so.
present for the fam.
Yeah, exactly. And look at what. Yeah, but I mean, it did change everything. We did learn the error of our ways because
fixed it all.
What would happen? You know, that horrible story where a meteor comes to Earth and then Kate Blanchett and Leonardo DiCaprio have sex. We can't live in that world. We can't leave that world for our children. We have to fix it. But enough stalling, Diggins.
That's how they get the summary. Okay, so I have the summary that they get from cloning the extinct dodo birds from 100,000 years ago. All right, so which one of you goes first?
Wait, DJ, how long ago do you think dodos went extinct?
Stop it.
We're
not doing this.
Guess.
You did it. You said hundreds of thousands of years ago, dodo birds. Tell me how long ago you think dodos went extinct.
Oh my gosh, 5,000. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
It's like 100 years, like 150. It's not that long ago.
1,000?
No, like 200 years, something like that.
Damn.
Wait, something like went extinct like after George Washington?
I mean, things go extinct all the time, but it's usually just like a flower, or that flower. Well, flowers too, but like a, frog no one knows, but it did die because we, smushed it with, construction equipment.
Oh, sorry guys.
Man.
I guess I'm more along the line. I'm exaggerating a little. It's more along the lines of 350 years ago, but definitely, within recorded history.
Yeah, like well recorded. Like, we had, well, all right.
Yeah,
but, all right. I don't know anything about extinct
people.
Species.
Yeah.
This is Diggins, I know you're searching for the next three-handed sandwich, but this is not it. This is not it.
DJ, listen. I want the listeners to know that I'm not searching for bits, for gotcha moments. I legitimately love plumbing the depths of your ignorance.
That's fair. It's a fun plummet.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, Diggins, enough stalling.
Enough stalling,
lost
Diggins.
last week, so I'm giving it to Diggins to go first because I haven't got a clue. Can you give us a hint, DJ?
Yeah, throw me anything here, man.
All right, well, I will give you anything. It is somehow on the longer side,
okay,
so
good.
feel free to go for it. There's no way your guess will be too long. There's just no way.
I believe that because it feels like if I had to guess, it would be either like a sentence or a paragraph and nothing in between.
Same.
Yeah. Lean toward paragraph.
Okay. After in a world where dinosaurs have been unleashed upon the earth, humans must learn to coexist with them. Owen and Claire have adopted Maisie, the young girl clone, and are trying to keep her safe. But when she is kidnapped by poachers, they must go on a quest to get her back. Meanwhile, Dr. Grant and Ellie Sattler, on an invitation from their old friend Ian Malcolm, investigate malfeasance at the shady pharmaceutical corporation Biosyn.
All right.
Okay.
Nando.
I like where you were going with a lot of that, Diggins. In fact, I had the same first three words as well, which is so I'm gonna stick with that. Is in a world where dinosaurs walk the earth. I almost want to say like after the events of Jurassic Park: Fallen Kingdom, but in a world where dinosaurs now walk the earth and live, coexist with humans. Owen Grady, I want to say, and Claire, whatever, live a quiet, isolated life with their raptor Blue, its kid Beta, and then Clone Girl. But that quiet life is disturbed or interrupted. Their quiet life is thrown upside down when a mysterious company finds them and takes Clone Girl back. And also, Alan Grant and Ellie Sattler. I'm just gonna say Alan Grant, Ellie Sattler, Andy, and Malcolm uncover a dangerous conspiracy at Biosyn involving cloning and a dangerous conspiracy that threatens the entire world.
You good?
Yeah.
All right. Neither of you came even kind of close. I mean,
of course.
I have a winner based on the slightest of details. And I almost want to just
I mean,
if you want to throw it to one of our classic tiebreakers,
yeah,
feel
go
free.
for a tiebreaker. I feel fine with that.
We're okay. Okay. Man, how do you guys? This is so much pressure.
Kind of like
That's
okay.
so eager to be in the hot seat, and now that you're there, you can't take the pressure.
Now that you see how hard our lives are, do you really want to, heavy is the head, they say.
I bet
Where's the
DJ's going to
crown?
be, from now on, he's going to deliberately tank all of his IMDb as and spelling bees because he can't handle the heat.
Oh, my God.
All right. I want to. Okay. Oh man. All right. I want to have you guys. Now, this game would run out pretty quickly.
Can we guess when
But-
something went extinct?
No, stop it. I want you guys to, back and forth, guess actors in this movie who were not in a previous Jurassic Park movie or Jurassic World or anything. Like, this was their first franchise appearance.
Actors.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, like, I don't know. Do you think characters is better?
I mean,
I don't care either way, but it's different, and that's why I'm asking.
actors?
We could go with characters if you guys agree
I mean,
to
like,
that.
jeez. Sure. Let's try actors.
No, we could go with characters, but it's gotta be like their full character name.
I'm not going to get those either. Let's do actors.
All right, actors. All right,
I will definitely remember characters more than actors, personally.
all right. Let's try actors and see where this goes.
Oh, my God. I don't know if I know one. This is going to be really tough.
Hold on. I think I got one. Although, Nando, you get to go first, I guess. Oh, no, I went first, so I get to go
Yeah,
first.
no.
You go first.
Yeah,
Justice Smith.
He was in the last one.
Was he? Fuck.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm gonna okay. So this is how bad I am at this. I'm not sure. So she's one of my potential storms in my video, but I don't remember what I remember the names of some of the ones I wasn't thrilled with, or not wasn't thrilled with, but wasn't like this is my one, like because I ended up with Jodie Turner-Smith, who is not who this is. I don't remember if this is her name. But I want to say DeWanda Wise.
Look at you go!
Is that the actress? Yeah, that plays the main.
Yeah. Nice.
Otherwise,
I don't know any names. That's the only one I knew.
let me see if I can think of just one. Just one who actually wasn't
I
in
am curious to get
the
to
previous
one.
movie.
It's tough.
I don't know I
There
know
are-
the names of the characters. I don't know the names of the actors.
Well, look, we established and agreed to this already.
Well, I said that I would prefer characters, and then you guys just kind of bowled over me. So
Look who's complaining now.
I'm calling a little bit of John's here.
All right,
I
that's
mean,
fine.
if you want to go for a third round, we can, but I don't think DJ can handle it. Garfield's little body can't take all that muscle.
I know. I feel like I've got an actor on the tip of my tongue.
You might. Keep. This is good if you keep stalling. That way, I could figure out another game.
Like,
Oh, you know what? I think I know.
there's two that I'm close on. There's two characters that I'm like, that actor might be a name I recognize. But
I mean, well, hold on. Are you just remembering actor names, or are you looking them up?
no. Like, I'm saying, like, I know those characters, and I've seen them in things before. So I should maybe know their names. There's some other characters in this that I've never seen in anything before, and I'm like, I don't know who that guy is. But the two, I'm like,
How's this? I got a better
Listen,
game.
I know who the people are, but I just don't know the actor names. I know the character names.
I got a better name. Also, the one you were looking for was Campbell Scott, who's Peter Parker's dad.
I was looking for the woman who has the laser pointer.
Yeah, I actually was also
What's
trying
she
to think of her
from?
name.
Because she's from something we've seen recently, right?
I can't even find her on because it's not. No.
No, that she's from the other one too. I didn't even think no.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the problem with not having IMDb. Like, I don't use IMDb,
Right,
so I
no, I
can't
know.
look for these people when I'm watching the movie. But I'm like, I know who that is, and her name is like, it starts with an S. It's like a short, like.
When I want to do that, Nando, I use Wikipedia instead of.
I thought
IMDb.
about
That's
it.
my
Yeah.
secret.
What is I mean, I guess I could do that on Wikipedia now.
I got a better game. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Boom. I want you guys to give me the current, and we'll do closest without going over. And I guess you can do the chicanery if you want. I want the current international gross for this movie.
International only, or like combined?
Yes. International only.
Tough.
Because I feel like you guys might know the other numbers. That's why I want to just do specifically international only. And this is it. This is it's a fair game. I'm laying out the parameters. And it's the as of yesterday, technically.
Oh,
so.
real quick, I figured out who this actor is. It is Dinchin. I don't know how to. God, I don't know. She's Australian, so I'm gonna guess like Deakin Lockman. She is the actor who plays the laser pointer. Also plays Miss Casey in the thriller series Severance. So I was like, I recognized her from something so recently. What was it? And it was that.
That is her.
Like she's in other stuff too,
nice.
but that's her. That's the thing. What is it? The worldwide gross.
The international
No.
gross.
Specifically international.
Wait, so
not
including America. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna say 100 million.
I will take the over, but I'll take it. I'm gonna say what I was gonna say before. 200 million.
I appreciate your bravery, Nando. $247,414,000.
I'm telling you, everybody loves Chris
Good
Pratt.
God.
He's an international box office machine. So I feel good about that.
Congratulations, Nando. You win. I'm going to
Thank
read you
you.
the summary, and you're both going to be pissed off about it because I was like, wow, this is terrible. Okay. 4 years after the destruction of Isla Nublar, dinosaurs now live and hunt alongside humans all over the world. This fragile balance will reshape the future and determine, once and for all, whether human beings are to remain the apex predators on a planet they now share with history's most fearsome creatures in a new era.
Wow, that sounds like a really cool movie.
Yeah.
I'd love to see that movie.
Nothing about Clone Girl? Are you sure?
Not a named.
Check the back of that one. There's probably a back to this one.
Nothing about any particular insects that might be present?
Yeah.
No, nothing about locusts.
Damn. Well, yeah, that movie sounds cool. Yeah, I mean, neither of us were too close. Who are you going to give it to if one of us... Because you said one of us had an edge.
I was going to give it to you, Nando, because you had, an exact phrase. I think it was like dinosaurs now live alongside humans. You
Right.
had that snippet out. But, Dickens also mentioned how, dinosaurs live with humans, but he, jumbled the words slightly around, so it didn't feel like enough to give you the clear win.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Honestly,
if,
it seems
one of you
it's
just-
shorter than I expected. Considering the plot and, all the things that set up this movie and the things that it feels like because what are they, what's the IMDb summary for? We'll never know. But if it's here's why you want to see this movie, it's because of all the stars, and here's what this star is doing, and here's what this star is up to.
Yeah, right. I think it's I feel like it is though on the longer side of how we normally do these. The Jurassic Park 3 one was a one-liner.
Yeah. It's also, I think it's fair that neither Nando and I got it, considering it describes a different movie that's not this one.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, for sure. This is barely the IMDb summary. It's more of the preamble to what this movie could have been.
Yeah. So Diggins, as punishment for not knowing the name of
For my crimes.
the one from Severance, you have to give us a short-ish. I mean, for this movie, but short-ish summary of the events of the movie. Big picture stuff, just to give context for our audience in the form of a little book report.
Well, first I have to give you about a 1-minute summary of everything that's happened between the last movie and this one.
Yeah, that's important.
Which is never explained to us.
That sure would have helped.
Okay, so first of all, audience, do you remember the last one? Because if you don't, this is going to be a lot harder.
No, we don't. Sorry, it was really bad.
No one does.
Nobody saw it.
No one watched this fucking movie.
Okay, so last time, it turns out there was a clone girl, and she let all the dinosaurs go. And so there are dinosaurs throughout the world, just kind of chilling. Now you might be thinking, so if she let a couple dozen dinosaurs out in a mansion in California, how come they're everywhere in the world now? The answer is shut up. So there's dinosaurs everywhere, and Owen and Claire, or Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard, just kind of live in the middle of nowhere in a cabin with her. They've adopted her. They're her parents now. Now you might think, is this that classic thing like in Sonic 2 where she's like, you're not my parents, and at the end she's like, thanks, Mom and Dad. Nope, she calls them Mom and Dad from the beginning. Not a conflict at all. So they're hiding her because they think people will try to dissect her or something if they find her. I don't know. But the poachers, dinosaur poachers, track them down to their cabin and poach both her and Blue, who I don't think lives with them, but lives near them. Like, it feels like Chris Pratt is surprised to see her, but she lives near them. I don't know. Anyway, she had a daughter through parthenogenesis, which is to say she asexually reproduced a daughter. And so the poachers kidnap the clone girl and this baby raptor. Owen and Claire are like, we want our children back, and they go to save them. Meanwhile, Ellie Sadler and Alan Grant from the earlier movies find out about a bunch of big-ass locusts that are eating all the crops except the Biosyn crops. Biosyn being the company that has bought the rights to build dinosaur sanctuaries or whatever.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're like, something shady might be going on. But luckily, Ian Malcolm, Jeff Goldblum, works there and invites them to go to the compound where they dig up evidence that Biosyn was behind the big locusts that are going to cause a worldwide starvation. Biosyn also turns out to be the ones who kidnapped Ellie and the raptor to try to fix the locust problem that they caused. Then, it's a Jurassic Park movie, so they're in the middle of this dinosaur sanctuary, things go wrong, and the dinosaurs are running loose. Everyone's in trouble and running around for a little bit, and then they escape with all the information, and they get to fix the locust problem, and that's the end of the movie.
Oh, very good. That was pretty much everything. I do think...
Yeah, you might notice that I kind of spent a lot of time describing the first hour or so of the movie, and then very little describing the next hour and a half. That's because nothing that happens in that hour and a half seems remotely important.
Yeah, it's all kind of like turning a corner and another dinosaur is there, running away from that dinosaur. And then...
A lot of screaming.
A lot of screaming, yeah. And a lot of like corporate shit.
Scream.
A lot of like people in boardrooms talking to each other. Not like boardrooms, but like science rooms and stuff.
Yeah, more like boring rooms.
Eat shit, Jurassic World Dominion.
That's what they should have called it. Eat shit, Jurassic World Dominion. The movie.
There's some dinosaur fights in there that just don't matter at all.
You mean all of them?
Yeah, it's like this movie got paid by the dinosaur. Like, there was just people that it was like, yeah, I'll give you $100,000 for every dinosaur. And they just made, like, 1 billion dinosaurs, but had nothing to do with any of them.
It kind of feels, you know how a lot of big blockbusters, like, get rewritten 4 or 5 times? And so, like, you can kind of see the artifacts of the previous plot lines in the final product? This 100%. Is like that. Yeah, this is like that, except the artifacts are the entire plot lines. It's like they wrote the movie 5 times and left each plot in.
Well, they had to know, like, what would work, right? So you just, we'll go with every plot, and then it's, like, totally fine.
Yeah, I wonder if part of the problem with this movie... Oh, yeah, we didn't have you talk about what you think about it yet. I mean, I feel like it's pretty clear.
The movie's terrible.
Yeah,
it's a bad
one
movie.
of the worst.
It's
so bad.
It has a lot of stuff in it, but none of it ever gets developed, so none of it feels important or interesting. And then a bunch of stuff just kind of happens until it's over, and the whole time it sucks. It's a bad movie. Don't watch it.
And the things at the end are bad too. Like there's
things
especially
in the beginning are also bad, and the
yeah,
middle,
I guess
not much of a fan.
There's something specific that happens. Like I would say a lot of the times with these things, it's like, well, I mean, it's just a sequel, whatever. Like ignore it and it's fine. But this one kind of does something specific that, as a big fan of the original Jurassic Park movies, did kind of bug me.
I get it.
And we'll get to it. But, like, yeah, this movie makes almost all the bad choices that it can. But I was going to say, it also feels like this movie was written... There were 2 versions of this script. One where it was just Owen and Claire, and then one where it's like, and maybe we'll be able to get the whole cast back, so then we'll have them do something kind of different. But in case they don't want to come back, we still have a movie that is still way too long, but it's just Owen and Claire doing their thing. Because, like, yeah, you could take a whole locust thing out, all that shit, and all of the main characters, like the old main characters out, and the movie is still there. Like, all the stuff still happens and all that.
Yeah, and it's like... I think, actually, it would be... I mean, the movie as it exists, it would be easier to remove Owen and Claire. They don't really do anything.
Yeah, that would be good.
In fact, their stuff gets in the way of the movie, so removing them would be better.
Then the movie would be shorter, and it would end sooner.
And they're the worst characters ever, in anything ever. So, well, not both of them necessarily, but one for sure.
Yeah,
I don't know, man.
I think the insufferableness is kind of skewed in one direction in there.
Yes.
Well, and also their lack of chemistry is like confounding. Like there's a scene early on that like doesn't matter, except maybe it could have provided for an interesting movie, where like Claire is helping like rescue dinosaurs that are being poached. I don't know, whatever. And like someone goes to Claire. It's like, oh, that's still going on, or like that's a weird thing between you and Owen's going on. And I'm like, oh, did they break up? That would be so fun. And she's like, hey. And the friend was like, oh, he just means that it's been a while or whatever. And I'm like, what? And like, that's a remnant of, was there a version of this movie where they did break up? And they're like, well, like, let's leave it in the script because you never know. Like, maybe that is an element we could have.
The moment you're talking about is the person says, like, you have that weird thing with Owen, right? And she's like, hey. And then she goes, oh, he didn't mean weird. He just means like you're so different. And I was like,
yeah.
You mean how he doesn't seem to like or respect her at all? Is that the part that's weird?
He doesn't like or respect anybody or anything. I mean, I think he kind of, for a second, I was like, is he going to leave her at the end of this movie for DeWanto Wise's character? But
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
It would have been amazing.
Just saving her and saving her and saving her and saving her. And then like, by the way, I feel like we've kind of run our course here. She was cool and is different than you, so I'm gonna go on this.
The past 6 months, I've really just been staying together for our clone daughter.
Exactly.
You can't do it for the kids; it ruins everything. So you know. Yeah,
I mean, this movie. To piggyback on what Diggins said, my official thing is this movie stinks. It's bad, and it is confounding to me that this movie is this instead of the movie that the other movie pitched at the end of it, and then we got what we got because it's so bad. And
they even pitched that at the start of this movie.
And at the end of this movie, they do it again.
Yeah!
It's so crazy. They know that that's a movie. There's someone, I mean, it's like they have like, it's like they're, like the screenwriters were like product placemented with like locust companies and shit. And they wanted to get the parts of the movie in that they obviously had to put in that were cool, like dinosaurs and people run around next to each other in like the streets. But then the movie still had to be about locusts, so they like squeezed the things that they wanted in the very beginning and very end. But I don't think that's how it works. And we'll get to the locusts because we have a wheel. But DJ, what is your opinion of this movie?
Oh, this movie sucks so hard. I hated that this was like a new release and I had to go to a theater to watch it, and it made me sad. And part of me, I was going in like, oh, well, at least like seeing dinosaurs on the big screen will be so cool. And the whole thing sucked for everything reason you guys said. I don't think I have anything to add on how it was bad, but yeah, you can cut so much from this movie. And like, I didn't even get any like fun nostalgia feels from it. It's like, oh, the gang's all back together, and like the new and the old are all here, and it's like, I don't care. I don't have any investment in like anybody.
Yeah, they're all written worse, than they are in the original movies. They fucked them
and
up
they're not going to meet for 2 hours anyway, so who cares?
Yeah,
I'll give it one thing: Jeff Goldblum still charming. That's the only thing I can give this fucking movie.
Well, yeah, the movie also, like, sets up a Jeff Goldblum, and then it's like, never mind. Jeff Goldblum's cool and nice and everything. But the Jeff Goldblum that the movie sets up was the more interesting one to me, of, like, this has all gone to his head, and he's, like, a clown who writes books and nobody takes seriously.
Right.
Like, that's an arc, for a character like that to have, but this movie doesn't have time for any of that. So by 5 minutes into his screen time, he's actually secretly part of the the locust resistance, and he's a good guy. But yeah, like this movie, and I mean, yeah, I think this movie fundamentally, and all of these movies, misunderstand what anybody liked about the first one of these, which is the only one of them that really like worked. Yeah, it was a mistake. Shouldn't have done it.
It really brings that Colin Trevorrow working on the third movie of a new trilogy from a classic property energy of let's just retcon everything. Everything means everything was actually something else, no matter how much it directly contradicts what was stated before, either plot or thematically.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I mean, that is
true.
I mean, we live in the world where we got an even potentially worse Star Wars, so like, it's not like episode 9 was good and thank God they rescued it from this, but man, this does not bode well. Although he wrote Jurassic Park 2, The Fallen Kingdom, I believe. Just did not direct it. But like that's more. But it's
Why are you retconning it? Why do you just write it that way in the first place?
Right, and it's also like that movie is kind of a more coherent movie. At least it's two movies smushed together. But both of those movies are like fine. And this movie is so all over the place and also like devoid of any interesting concepts or fun new ideas. It's very strange. I don't know how this happened, and I hate it. But we do have a wheel, you guys.
Yeah, we do.
10 things on the wheel.
A wheel that might go on some kind of Jeep that you might drive to escape from a dinosaur. One of many things from previous movies that are in this movie.
Exactly. And a motorcycle. Also a thing with wheels that you can drive to escape a dinosaur, like in the other ones.
A dinosaur with absolutely monstrous stamina. Just completely unreal.
Yeah. Almost as good as always just 1 inch behind a motorcycle.
For miles. For literal miles.
Yeah, they are the most dangerous hunters, blah, 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 blah. So, even more dangerous than motorcycles. I do want to spin the wheel because I accidentally already did, and it landed on one of mine, but I'm sure we've kind of already touched on this, but it's good to get it out of the way early. Oops, All Clone Girl. So this movie, I forgot that the Clone Girl was even in the last one, going into this. And again, she's the whole thing. The whole plot is her. I mean, it's her and the locusts, which we'll get to. But like, out of all the bad ideas from the last movie that we had to figure out what to do with here, this whole shit with her, especially at the end, is so boring and also pointless.
Yeah.
Well, the thing about Clone Girl in this movie is very similar to the thing about Clone Girl from last movie, where they have Clone Girl show up and they talk and they like have her talk about like, there might be some interesting ethical, moral, and philosophical dilemmas that you might have with the idea of a cloned human being. Anyway, it just never comes back to that. Ever.
Yeah, and there's even like we even get more information because in the last one it was like, oh, I forget how this is played, like how this was placed in the last one, but Clone Girl thought, what is her name, by the way? Maisie. Ugh, I don't like that.
It's a British name. What do you expect?
Yeah, Maisie.
Wow.
Get him. Maisie's thought process, or like believed, I think, that her grandfather cloned her because of what happened to her mom / like clone mom, and that was the story of movie 2, The Fallen Kingdom.
So the story of movie 2 was his old businessman who worked with John Hammond had a daughter who died in a car crash. After she died, he tried to clone her and succeeded, and that was why he and John Hammond fell out. John Hammond thought that was going too far.
Right. And then in this movie, that is also retconned, and to almost like make that all of the cloning stuff, not even like to like make it all have been good. Like the message of the movie with cloning is both like it is a technology that should never be in big business's hands, but like fundamentally it's awesome to do.
Yeah, right.
Especially if you have disease. And I'm not against that. I do think sometimes these, like, I get the like the idea of like, mom had a terminal disease, she got rid of it, and the movies are always like, wouldn't that be the worst thing in the world? And I'm like, yeah, but it would be kind of cool. I don't know. But the idea that this movie makes it like, it's very Star Wars Episode 9, where it's like, oh, your parents secretly loved you so much, and you have the destiny you kind of thought you wanted that'll be easy for the audience to swallow here. It's really stupid.
I mean, it's like, so I watched Jenny Nicholson's video about the second Jurassic World before we started recording.
Oh, yeah.
And I think she brings up a really important point about all this cloning stuff that they put in these movies, which is the interesting ethical dilemma isn't like, is cloning good or bad? Oh, which is just like, I feel like no one's having that debate anymore. Even like the religious people who were all up in arms when they first cloned that sheep have kind of moved on from that debate and like don't really care about it. But the thing is, like, in a world where cloning is kind of simple and easy to do, isn't the danger that big companies like this will no longer place any value on individual lives because they'll just be like, well, we can just clone new ones. Like,
right. Yeah, which should be something so cool in a Jurassic Park movie because it's like the workers keep getting eaten by dinosaurs or something. So it's just like, yeah, replace them. I don't give a shit. Like Futurama, Planet Express, just get new ones. Like, but yeah, they don't do that here.
But yeah, that's not what the dilemma is in these movies. The dilemma is like, if you're a clone, are you like a real person? And it's like, yeah, what are identical twins not real people? Of course they are.
Yeah, and then that's what they kind of reveal in this, is that her mom made her kind of her own identical twin on purpose. So, like, she cloned herself because she had some sort of terminal illness, so, like, she could stick around, I guess. And we get this from BD Wong, who I don't understand what they did with him here. What was the deal with BD?
What is his like history with because they're like not this guy again, and I just like I can't remember.
He's the bad guy in the first two of these, I think.
Well, he's not like the bad guy, but he's the guy who is like doing all of the cloning and genetic experiments for the bad guys. Because he's like, I think cloning and genetic experiments are rad, and I don't care who pays me to do them.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
And I want to say in the second movie, he's even like bonked over the head by the heroes, and the villains like drag him off into a helicopter, like fucking, you know, Cobra Commander in the end, and he flies away in the helicopter, like, I'll get you next time, Owen Grady, and whatever, and the clone girl, ha ha ha. And then in this movie, he's like, I'm nice, and the cloning is good. All the things that you thought were bad about the cloning are good. And there's a different bad guy that's kind of doing what it seemed like I would have been doing, but I'm nice.
They Professor Hulked us. All of his character development was in between the movies.
Yeah. Yeah, it's wild.
I love when they do that.
And it's just like, I guess I didn't need to see him because who gives a shit? But also, like, it does seem like after the second one that they were setting up this, like, he is the big villain or something. Or at least, like, he is going to drive the final movie because he has the dinosaur DNA. Like, he stole it, I think. And, yeah, they just
Nando,
ignored
what does he have?
The dino DNA.
Hold on. You haven't quite nailed it yet.
What does he have?
He has the dino DNA.
Oh. Okay, yeah, he has that. I'm going to say he like has it in a suitcase or something, and then it's like everything's cool. Like he's like, it's like, all right, well, he was really going to fuck this all up. But also, like, the end of the second movie doesn't need that. We don't need a reason for him to make more dinosaurs because the movie released all the dinosaurs in the end. So it's like, he can have them if he wants. He gets 3 more dinosaurs than all the rest of us, but I don't know. Clone Girl stinks.
Yeah, she's bad.
Actor fine.
I feel bad. I nothing wrong with like the actor. I assume it's just like this character has like nowhere to go. I assume she's doing her best.
Well, so like every character in this movie, it's like she has the idea of an arc, but they never do anything with it. With hers being like, I want to know where I came from, like my clone mom. What was she like? And then some people tell her what her clone mom was like, and she's like, "Oh, okay." And that's it.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing.
Sounds rad.
Yeah, and also
it seems like the movie thinks that there's an arc about her accepting Claire and Owen as her parents, but there's not. It's not there.
Yeah,
they don't talk for all but like 90 seconds after like the first scene. It's wild.
Well, and it's weird because like this actor is only in these movies. She's not a star or anything like that. Which just feels
producer's kid, like.
Well, that's what I'm looking up now, but I don't
daughter?
think so. No, I like she's her dad is someone named Joshua Sermon, which is really hard to Google, because you get sermons about Joshua, but I don't think so. There's nothing on our IMDb to suggest that, which is strange. Because I don't think she's bad. Although I have changed my mind. I think all child actors are bad now. They shouldn't be in movies. This is my new thing. Whenever they're in stuff, I'm like, I don't like any of them. They're mostly bad. Not because they're doing a bad job, but because kids are bad actors because they're kids, you know?
The problem is, Nando, if you go down that train of thought, then it's like, well, when we needed Evan Hansen, we have to get an old man to play him because child actors are bad.
And that was great.
So
I want more of that. Look at how much more interesting that made that movie. Imagine if this clone girl was like, an adult in pigtails or whatever.
Cast her right now. Who do you want to be Clone Girl?
Rebel Wilson. I don't know.
That would be amazing.
In that movie where she pretends to be young again or something. So she's got the chops. Yeah, I don't know. I want like what's her name? Like Zendaya or something. Like someone who's like in her 20s but can pretend to be a teenager. Because also the age of this character doesn't matter at all. There's no good reason that it's a child besides it's their like little surrogate daughter. But the movie doesn't care about that, so it could be a 100-year-old man for all I care. But
a child, by the way, that should be brought up on war crimes for releasing dinosaurs into the world.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure we'll, like, talk about that more. Well, I know there's a chunk on the wheel that gets into this specifically, but, like, it is just, like, insane that her decision to, like, I don't want to kill them all, just, like, ruined the planet.
Yeah. I mean,
like,
yeah, it's
God
pretty...
damn.
It is pretty surprising because they bring this up in the beginning where they're like, oh, man, they're going to get you if they find you. That'd be bad. But it's not because of that. It's just because they want to steal your clone girl DNA.
Right?
I got a question. What do they think is going to happen if people know about her? Because there's this, like, they keep her trapped in this little cabin in this isolated corner of the country, and, like, they never let her leave or see anybody else. They're like, you don't know what will happen if people find you. And it's like, I don't know, probably not a lot. She's a person. If she was if you were trying to clone dinosaur, I might get it. Because, like, yeah, you don't know what the government's going to say about clone dinosaurs, but, like, I don't know, man. She's a human being. She has certain rights, legally speaking. They're not going to, like, disappear her, probably. Especially not if she comes out to, like, the media and people know she exists, you know?
Yeah.
Could be like a scenario with, oh my gosh. Who was the, Elian Gonzalez. It could be like an Elian Gonzalez situation.
Yeah, look what happened to Elian Gonzalez, you know?
That's what I'm saying.
Not a great...
The U.S. government's like, yeah, we know, like, you're technically a person, but I want to really test that theory out some more.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think whether or not Elian Gonzalez was a human being was under debate.
That's fair.
I mean, are any, can children even be human beings? They're not good actors.
That's true.
What's the point,
Get
rid of them.
That's a better movie where she comes out and they're like, is she even American? Get her out of here!
I mean, she's not at all. Well, is she? She was cloned in America?
I think so, yeah. So I think she would be considered an American citizen. If she was born.
I don't know.
so.
How do you establish naturalization?
Yeah. Why does she have a British accent, actually? Now that I think about it.
Her mom's British?
Yeah, but her dad isn't.
Right.
Or,
well, her dad
just
doesn't
cloned
exist. No, she's
Right,
a parthenogenesis.
But didn't her mom die pretty quickly, and then she was raised by that other guy? The villain in the last
grandpa.
one? Oh, and her grandpa, right, yeah. And her grandpa was British, probably.
Probably.
Yeah. I don't remember
God
who it
knows
was,
I don't
honestly.
remember.
Yeah, I can't. Wait, wasn't it Babe's, like, the guy who owned Babe?
The farmer from Babe?
Babe?
Wasn't he the dad of the last one?
I don't know, was he?
I don't know. You guys know that this podcast has frequently been described as three guys talking about movies with amnesia, and this is not our fault. This is the last movie's fault. But
no, Nando. It's what is it? One of us saw the movie, got amnesia, and tried to explain the movie to the other two. Who also have amnesia.
I don't remember. Yeah, James Cromwell was the dad. So he was was he British in that?
Yo, man. Fucking fine.
Because he's not, right? Like, that would be weird. Did they think the British accent get cloned into her?
You're asking me to go back to a very dark part of my life. The part where I watched Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom.
Right? Well, okay. I'm going to spin the wheel because the clone girl thing, like, besides the fact that it is a big part of the movie, it's also not the most interesting part of the movie. I spun the wheel.
It might be.
Well, I spun the wheel again, and it landed on something that I do find very interesting. This is another one of mine. It's hands at dinosaurs. Did you guys know that if a dinosaur is attacking you, if you do hands at dinosaurs at it, it might not do that anymore? Because it is a superpower that could have saved so many lives in the past.
This is one I meant to come. I forgot to put it down. I'm so glad you have it there. Although my version of it was that Chris Pratt is secretly a Jedi.
Yeah. It's pretty wild. In the previous movies and in that one picture, he did hands at dinosaurs, but those were dinosaurs he trained to do hands at dinosaurs and then be calm. But in this, he does hands at dinosaurs at a lot of new dinosaurs he's probably never met, and they all go with it. He does it at like a fucking T-Rex. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then other people who have never trained with dinosaurs or animals at all, never learned to be animal trainers, also do hands at dinosaurs, and it works for them too.
Yeah, my God, they never. The fucking lawyer on the toilet, Newman, all these people, if only they knew, hands at dinosaurs is how you get them.
There was no way to know from the fossil record that if you just held up a hand at them, they would instantly stop attacking.
Well, and that's part of the other thing with this movie is, like, something that I noticed, because the first time we get hands at dinosaurs is when Chris Pratt is, like, on horseback, lassoing, because he's a good old American cowboy, salute to Chris Pratt, dinosaur that's, like, in the wild or something. I don't know what kind of dinosaur this is.
Paracephalosaur.
There we go.
It has kind of a hard to pronounce name, so that might not be exactly it, but that's the basic gist.
Yeah. It's one of the ones that's kind of like a, you know, big old, it's got like a raptor. It's got two legs, kind of, but it's bigger than that. It's got the big kind of, whose head is like that?
There probably were actually quadrupedal, but in these movies, they're always bipedal for some reason.
That makes sense. Yeah, they're the ones in these movies that are always just running around in big groups, and they probably don't eat meat, I would guess.
They're herbivores, yeah.
Yeah. So
and also, Chris Pratt is so strong that he can stop one from running away with his human muscles alone.
It's insane. It's the same shit with fucking Captain Falcon in the end of that show, where, like, because Chris Pratt is on the horse, he gets the horse's strength and added to his human arms so that he can pull back against the dinosaur, even though it's all just his human arms. There's no, like, it's so weird how the transitive property of strength flows through Chris Pratt's to his human arms. No,
Nando, do you forget? He does it without the horse at one point. At one point, he's thrown off the horse because the dinosaur bucks, and then the rope is, like, kind of trapped on a little outpost or something, and he with his human arms just like stops, pulls on the rope and stops the dinosaur from running away until he can tie up the rope.
Well, he had a stump there, so leverage, right? That's how leverage works. That you can literally pick up anything you want with rope and leverage.
Like I said, you become as strong as the thing you're leveraging to. So he becomes as strong as the stump, and then he can hold.
Right. Well, the rope can't move. The rope is a fixed point in space. So the fact that it's around the stump and like can't like be moved around the little hook it's forming around the stump means it can't be moved at all. It doesn't matter. It doesn't need any force being applied on the other side to cancel it out.
This is like a less impressive version of that time The Rock used a chain to hold a helicopter in place on that in Hobbs and Shaw, and just like strained a lot. But it's like, yeah, he's doing it, and it's like it's because of the car. And it's like, well, I guess, but also his little body can't handle all that muscle, but it can because he's got all that muscle. But
I mean, far be it from me to compliment a Fast and Furious movie, but that seems like intentionally ridiculous in a way that the scene is emphasizing. And at least they have the dignity to make it look like he's finding it difficult.
Yeah,
Chris just kind of does it.
Well, that's how he does everything in all these fucking movies. Tomorrow War, this. Probably not the Guardians movies. Hopefully not in the future, the next one. But yeah, all the other movies he's in. That time he killed Osama bin Laden. He's kind of good at stuff. Good old American boy. Salute. But anyway, one of the thoughts I had about this, one of the things that bugged me about dinosaurs in this movie is a couple of times, like in this moment and before this in the weird factory farming moment, which we probably won't have too much things to get to, but like dinosaurs are like kind of pigs in factory farms. And Bryce Dallas Howard has to bust them out. But, there's a lot of moments like that where something is happening, and it's like, this is a thing that you would usually do with a horse. But in this instance, it's being done with a dinosaur. But there's nothing different about how you do it. So it might as well just be a horse. You know, that might as well be a pig. In that first scene, it doesn't need to be a Triceratops that she's rescuing. Who gives a shit? Like, it's not bigger, it's not scarier, it's just like another thing. So this movie does the dinosaurs in the wild thing, but just takes all of the traits of whatever animal they're kind of closest to and just like smushes them onto the dinosaurs, and it's really boring.
Yeah, for real.
And yeah, hands of dinosaurs, man. It's the worst, I think, in the middle of the movie, which has a whole chunk on the wheel. But when he does it the first time and the last time, it's equally insane.
I feel like he does it at the beginning, besides the Paracephalosaur, he does it a couple times to Blue, and you're like, okay, well, that's a dinosaur he specifically trained, so sure. But yeah, then he just does it to, like, dinosaurs that have escaped containment and are about to eat him, and it works. It's stupid. But anyway, we talked about this enough.
It's insane.
Can I give one last theory on Hands of Dinosaurs? That's kind of it's a different point than what we said already.
Absolutely.
I think Hands of Dinosaurs is kind of like a meta thing where the screenwriters put it in there because they're like, okay, everyone loved the first Jurassic World movie. This is them just like thinking, right? So if we have Chris Pratt do Hands of Dinosaurs, everyone will remember him from that and be like, oh yeah, I like him from that. He was good in that movie when Chris Pratt was so fun. So I actually think Hands of Dinosaurs is for us, the audience, to like remember Chris Pratt fondly. That's my theory.
Yeah. It's possible. It helps me to do that a little bit, but then I still see him in this, and I'm like, no, this is now Chris Pratt.
Yeah, all I see is Garfield now.
All I see is Garfield. His little body can't take all that Chris Pratt. I did spin the wheel again, and it landed on this one, which is one of DJ's. It's 37 deaths. Do you want to describe this to people?
Oh my God! Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay, so in the very beginning of the movie, I think it's the very first thing, even before the Claire rescuing the dinosaur from the farm, is, hey, audience, and I guess Nando and Diggins, are you familiar with that really fun thing that you might see on Twitter sometimes called Now This?
That's how I get all my news.
Yeah.
So yeah, the movie thought it would be fun and like whatever, to do like a little Now This on like dinosaurs are like around the earth. And like, it's like what you would expect, right? It's like, oh my God, there's a dinosaur in like the middle of the road. Or, oh no, it's like attacking people at their wedding. Oh my God, dinosaurs are real. And it's like the voiceover is like, is this okay that there are dinosaurs around? So one thing, like, stat line that was given was 37 deaths a year from dinosaur things. And in my head, I'm like, that's like way too low.
That's
so what I decided to do.
Yeah, it's like 3 a month. Is that worldwide too, or in just America?
I think it was just America. Okay. I think. So let's just say it was just America. So guys, what I have is some things that I was only able to find. I actually did a little bit of research. I was only able to find one, like, I don't want to say common cause because it's only 37, but one like regularly documented cause of death that was under 37 deaths a year. Do either of you, this should have been the fucking game, do either of you want to guess what it is?
I mean, can't believe that you had this incredible tiebreaker planned and you didn't break it out.
Yeah. Is it shark attacks?
No, so I couldn't find the like different stats for like animal attacks, but like animal attacks overall count for like a few thousand.
Oh, sure.
And those are non-dinosaur animals.
So in my head, I feel like that one of those stats that went around a lot when I was in high school for some reason was like, refrigerators kill more people than sharks every year. Only 6 people are killed by sharks and 15 people are killed by falling refrigerators. So that's just my low bar. But also, with more global warming, we probably made the sharks angrier, so I'm not counting.
So it's not an animal, to be clear?
It's not animal. Yeah, to be clear, it's not animal related.
Because I just looked it up, and this is only less than twice as many people who are killed by cows every year.
Oh, nice.
22 people per year killed by cows.
Yeah. I think the shark number is like 6 or 7 in the United States, but I don't know all of it. What's your guess, Diggins?
Okay, so it's something that we would track, but is like comically low. I mean, obviously every person who dies is a tragedy, unless they're Hitler. But
I got a couple other people, but yeah, Hitler mostly. At least I don't know, some number between 6 and 4. I don't know.
I'm going to say. Accident arising from a left-handed person using a tool designed for right-handed people.
That's a good one.
Oh my gosh, you got it!
Really?
No.
Wait, can I give another guess now that we know it's not animals?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, wait, what was it? Elevators. Elevator accidents.
It is not elevators, but so I found falls, and like falls is pretty high. I guess I don't know if we count elevators and falls, but falls is like pretty high too. It's in the thousands.
Falls
in
is
elevators,
like old people falling over, and then because they are old and a little brittle, it breaks their bones and they die.
So there's 2 kinds of elevator deaths. The first one is the elevator, just the string goes and everyone collapses, like Terror, whatever. The second one is Final Destination 2, where the guy behind you has a box of hooks, and your ponytail gets caught in it, and then the elevator closes on you and cuts your head off. That, I think, maybe 37 is like a reasonable number for how many times that happens, but I'm not sure.
Well,
or like one of those little diagrams you see in like the old small elevators with the door you have to close manually, where if you bring a trash can in, it'll decapitate you.
Wait, what?
You never seen one of those diagrams?
No.
Trash
cans?
It's because if you bring a trash can in and it's a little too big, then it'll like get stuck and like won't go down, and then it'll pin you against the wall, and the like hole will like get caught on your neck and decapitate you.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
cool.
Seems bad.
Rad as hell.
So, I did some Googling, and Nando, you were actually dead on with that. According to this National Institute for Occupational Safety and Health and the CDC, incidents involving elevators and escalators kill about 30 and seriously injure about 17,000 people each year in the United States. Elevators cause almost 90% of these deaths and 60% of serious injuries. Injuries to people working on or near elevators, including those installing, repairing, and maintaining elevators, and working in or near elevator shafts.
Wait, it really was elevators?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I was mostly just guessing because of Final Destination 2.
Well, that's not the one I had, but that is another one.
Oh, okay, cool.
But I have one that is also like something that is tracked but is pretty comically low.
Yeah, I don't know. That was my
You
guess.
guys want to know what it is?
What is it?
Fart.
It's residential. It's residential carbon monoxide poisoning.
Oh.
Well, it's good.
It
to know
actually
that's so
is
low.
not.
Yeah.
It's not that high. If you go to like commercial and like other areas, like it gets like a lot higher. But in terms of like residential carbon monoxide index, it's actually not that high. It's like on the order of like in the 30s, along with elevators apparently.
Oh, look at us as a society.
And
Look where we got with that. That's good.
But so the movie has decided that dinosaurs apparently kill less people than cows, if we're to believe Diggins' research.
Dinosaurs kill more people than cows, but a lot less than you'd think. A lot.
Right, fair.
The numbers are way closer
Fair.
than you'd expect.
I think the real
what I
question is how many people would be killed by a dinosaur they're trying to have sex with in the wild. Kicked in the head or something, and then because I feel like that number is high, but they're hiding it.
I think
so
I think it's only like about 25% of the recorded numbers are usually for an animal is usually someone trying to have sex with it. So I guess it would be about
10-ish people.
10-ish people dying of dinosaur sex related accidents.
Heroes. 10 heroes. Trying to make those hybrids from that picture I showed last week. It's a good movie. Universe.
I will say, I think the people in this movie act like that statistic is correct. Because if something only kills 37 people a year, as we're pointing out, it's actually not that dangerous. And nobody in this movie acts like dinosaurs are dangerous. So
Yeah.
Well, I guess what I'm saying is it doesn't seem realistic. That seems impossible. Like, dinosaurs would just be taking down planes left and right.
Yeah.
Well, these
Right?
dinosaurs would be. Real ones, definitely not. But these ones, yeah, they'll attack fucking anything.
Well, and also, like, there is a, it's a, like a, I don't even know, like, short film that came out with the last one, or, like, between the last one and this one, where, like, a dinosaur kills, like, a Jurassic Park, Jesus. A T-Rex, like, goes to, like, I want to say, like, a mobile home, like, a campground, and kills a bunch of people. So, like, that's the only time in that year that anybody's been killed by a dinosaur.
Yep.
Because there definitely were 37 people there, so.
It just seems improbable that that's the number.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I guess because the movie doesn't want it to be a big deal that dinosaurs are everywhere, but, like, even beyond the 37 deaths, if you were just to introduce dinosaurs into, like, our ecosystem, it would ruin everything. It would be like releasing sized locusts
God.
eat all the grain and shit.
No, who would do such a thing?
And boring. I feel like, and also, well, to be fair, now this frequently wrong. So maybe they just didn't check their facts. You know, this is all part of the liberal media of dinosaur protectors or something.
But yeah, I just feel like inviting dinosaurs into our ecosystem would destroy everything.
Oh, yeah.
Like food sources, like the complications would be like incredible. But
well, it would be that, or they'd all die immediately, right? Because it's too cold for them.
Sure.
And people would shoot them.
Right.
Like, there's some points in this movie. There's a point in the middle part, which I don't think I was going to talk about then, so starting in here, where like guys have guns pointed at the dinosaurs and they run away instead.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think if you shoot them, you can probably knock him out. Like maybe
you would do a number on
Yeah.
the dinosaur if you shot it.
you definitely got
Also
a better
try.
shot than running away.
And it's not like they're like T-Rexes or something huge. They're
Right.
raptors. They're
Yes.
dinosaurs that I feel like I would have a decent chance of shooting.
And I mean,
Quick, Nando, could you take a
I
raptor
was
if you
gonna
got a
say
gun?
I forgot
Absolutely.
this is another wheel segment I meant to include, which is by the end of this podcast, Nando, I would like an itemized list of every dinosaur you think you could beat.
oh my god, there's so many dinosaurs in this movie. I mean, I could beat all the small ones, right? The ones that you could kick around, like that are.
If you had a gun.
well, if I had
the
a
small
gun, I
ones.
could kill. I think I could kill a raptor with a gun. I think 6 or 7 bullets or whatever is in a magazine, like a standard handgun magazine.
Sure.
Which might be more than that. I don't know too much about guns, but I feel like, I mean, I would probably run away because I'm a coward. But if I was like, I have to shoot this thing, and I made that decision, I don't know, maybe I'll be able to kill it. People are fucking hitting the fucking raptors with beams, and then they die. So like, I don't know. It seems like it's not that hard. Anything bigger than that, I probably can't kill. But yeah, I think I could shoot a raptor with a gun, maybe kill it. So yeah, I think my odds are okay. You know what I don't think I could kill is that, which we see for, I forget where this one came from, but the T-Rex that's also a like flying T-Rex head thing.
Oh yeah.
What?
I think that one might upset me.
Flying T-Rex head thing?
So we see it in wherever, like the Mediterranean city, Malta. Is that where that's seen?
Malta,
place?
yeah.
Yeah, it's in the... So I think what happened is in Jurassic World, they were fucking around with dinosaurs and made a T-Rex head on a pterodactyl, like, for fun. I don't remember when we saw this, but I think in this movie you walk by one of those that's like a pet in the animal cage
Oh,
fighting thing.
yeah. No, I do remember that.
Yeah, so that I don't think I could kill, but all the rest. And I also don't think I could kill a flying pteranodon. I still think that's fair. Although, I think shooting it isn't insane. Like, that one would be a pretty easy one to shoot, too, because it's big, right? So, like, the raptors, the only problem is, like, could I hit it? And it's like, if I hit it twice, I feel like I could probably kill it. Or, like, wound it to the point where it would run away. I also just feel like predators in general, like, if you have a raptor or like a bear or something, and you shoot it a couple times, I do feel like it might just run away. You know? This idea that it's... I guess if it's got lasers, then you're in trouble. But
Yeah, if a laser's on you, then
Oh yeah, if
there's
it has
nothing you can
lasers,
do.
you're
then I'm
fucked.
fucked. I spun the wheel again, and speaking of raptors, landed on one of yours, Diggins. Raptor Jesus. Let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Raptor Jesus, baby.
So this kind of ties in with Clone Girl, because like we said, they kidnap Blue's daughter as well, who gets named Beta halfway through the movie, right before she stops showing up for the rest of the movie, pretty much.
Yeah, what? They couldn't get Blue on set? I don't know why there's not more Blue in this movie. Contract negotiations.
I mean, that's absolutely true. Blue's not in this movie at all, but I was talking about Beta. Beta gets
Yeah.
named and then stops appearing for the rest of the movie until the very end for 5 seconds.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so Beta's a baby raptor, and it turns out that Blue had this baby all by herself without any other raptors, which is a process that exists in some reptiles called parthenogenesis. And in fact, BD Wong explains that she has monitor lizard DNA, and monitor lizards have been known to do that. So it's actually not that mysterious or weird that this happened. But whoa, it's crazy. And the reason why it's important and why we need Beta to be kidnapped along with Maisie, the clone girl, is that Clone Girl's mom, her clone mom, changed her DNA so that Maisie would not have a genetic disease that Clone Mom had, so that Maisie could live a full life.
Right.
And so BD Wong is like, I need to study you to see how she did that so I can stop the locusts that we created. And I need Beta to look at an example of someone whose DNA wasn't changed when they were cloned or created or whatever. So that I can compare it. Which, yeah, you need a control, sure. A couple things about this. Number one, you literally just said that Beta is the result of a perfectly normal natural process in monitor lizards. Why don't you just get like a monitor lizard? Hell, why don't you just clone something? A thing you love doing. That seems like it would be more accurate, because parthenogenesis actually does not create identical DNA copies. They're very similar, but they're not identical. So, like, and in fact, it should be male if it's parthenogenesis, because reptiles, unlike humans, the double chromosome is male, and the two different chromosomes is female. So, a parthenogenesis child is always male.
Right.
Oh.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting indeed.
But yeah, so like, why do you need beta? You can get literally anything that does this, or in fact, clone something yourself, because that would actually be a better comparison. It's actually an identical DNA copy that you haven't changed at all. Secondly, if what you need is to study, or apparently non-invasively, totally, like, it's not like he's like, we need to kill you and dissect you so we can learn this.
Right.
He's like, yeah, I need a couple DNA samples so I can look at them, and then you're good. Why didn't you just ask? Why did you kidnap her?
Yeah, right.
Why did you give the worst possible first impression?
Well, he didn't want to kidnap her, right? That was all the guy's thing, right?
I mean, it's implied that
Biosis man.
Louis Dodson.
Yes.
By the way, did you guys know? Not the first time he's been in these movies.
Who is that?
What?
Louis Dodson.
Really?
The actor is new. The character is not.
Oh. What was he in the other ones?
He was in the very first Jurassic Park. He's the guy who was paying Newman to betray Hammond.
Oh.
And
wow.
He was the one who met him in the restaurant and gave him the shaving cream can, which is
That's
why he
the
has
nobody
it in this
cares
movie.
guy. I just
thought that was a fun little. We're doing callbacks.
Yeah, I just kind of assumed it was because it was in the other movie. It never occurred to me that was actually plot relevant.
I mean, it's not. It is pretty much just a callback to the other movies, because it doesn't even make any fucking sense that he would have it. It was with Newman when he died.
Yeah.
How would he have gotten it? Especially because apparently his involvement in that whole event has gone unknown all these years.
Yeah, and it wasn't
Went
even
back to
with
the island,
Newman,
maybe.
because it was with Newman and then it washed away into the river during a big storm. So it would be so hard to find. Like,
Yeah.
But I mean,
He
did
cared
get
so
it.
much.
Good for him.
I don't know. But yeah, anyway, yeah, it seems like he kind of masterminded the whole kidnapping thing. But, like, BD Wong doesn't seem upset about it. He's just like, cool, we have her. Now we can do our thing. It's
Yeah.
like, what? I don't understand why you went about this the most evil way possible when you genuinely are just like, I want to do a good thing that saves the world.
Yeah, I don't know. Because because she's under this impression that that her mom, like, when she learns the information about her mom and stuff, yeah, I feel like it'd be pretty easy to convince her. Like, oh, this is what your mom said. She wanted you to, cure cancer or whatever, and, like, this is a good thing. But, yeah, instead they kidnap her.
And, like,
It's pretty weird.
wouldn't that be kind of an interesting conflict if all this time Owen and Claire have been, like, keeping her away from civilization because they're scared of what people will do, and then someone shows up and is actually like, hey, you're a very important person, genetically speaking, and if you help us, we can save the world. And, like, having to navigate that kind of distrust and, like, being proven wrong. There's kind of a weird theme in this movie that they never follow through on, where it's like, when things are this bad, you can't just do nothing. You have to do something. But they never interrogate that with Clone Girl. And the fact that Owen and Claire want her to be doing nothing. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Anyway, the raptor is Jesus because it was a virgin birth. Raptor Jesus, everybody.
It's true.
Woo!
I spun the wheel again, and it landed on... Oh, it's Fun TJ's. It's a small Jurassic World after all. Let's talk about the
It is small
finale and,
Jurassic.
like, the kind of geography of all of this in general.
Yeah, so this movie takes place over, like, a lot of places. So we begin with, like, the family, I guess I would call it, in, like, Seattle or Washington State, like, adjacent. I don't know, there's, like, a lot of forests and shit.
Yeah.
And then we got, then we're at, like, a dig site to meet, good old Indiana Jones hat.
Right.
And then we got the Biosis, we got Malta, we got, like, all these fucking places. So I think, like, the crime comes in at, like, the finale of the movie where we're, like, all of our characters are, in the Biosis biodome, like, because it doesn't matter why, we're rescuing the girl, but also like we're stopping the locusts. All of our plots are like converging in on each other. They're like a collapsing star. It's just like everything happening at once. And like the movie tries to give this weight to like, all right, so we're in a crashing plane. Okay, so there's only one ejector seat. So Claire, all right, you're gonna go. You're gonna save Maisie because it's important that you do that. All right, me and the pilot, we're just gonna crash the plane and we'll see what happens. No, fuck it, doesn't matter. All right, so okay, Claire is in a forest. All right, she's in a forest, right? You follow me? She's in a forest, and it's a big dense forest. There's dinosaurs everywhere. It's like Jurassic Park all over again. Oh my god, how's she gonna get out alive? But just hiding doesn't matter. It's fine. She's totally fine. Oh, but then we got Chris Pratt and the pilot. I'm just referring to her as the pilot because I don't feel like looking up her character name. And they crash into it's a frozen lake. Then we have a frozen lake and we have a forest all in the same dome because it's like for dinosaurs or whatever. So they crash there and then it's fine. They get into the facility and then they get out of the facility and then when they need to go to the forest to get there, it's fine. It's like there's so many different locations and they could all just bounce from one to another and it doesn't matter at all. And like, I know I shouldn't care, but it's like just frustrating because at one point it's like, oh man, how is Chris Pratt going to get to everyone? He's so far away. And he literally just shows up 2 seconds later like, hi everybody. Oh look, it's the old people and it's my daughter and it's my wife and it's like everything's cool. Everything's totally cool. And it's just got to get everyone together at the end and we don't care how it happens. This movie has like no respect for the intelligence of its audience. It doesn't. Oh, it's so frustrating. I hate when movies do that. I hate when movies like treat me as like a dumb audience member because they're just like, oh, you don't care how a character got from one place to another. It doesn't matter.
Well, DJ, you are a fool because you forgot that this movie has the greatest mode of transportation that's ever existed. Do you remember what it is?
They have a fucking hyperloop.
They have a hyperloop. How can you not get everywhere so quickly? It's so economical and safe. And
first of all,
they do have one.
It's the slowest Hyperloop I've ever seen, even though I've never seen a Hyperloop. But also, how do they go an entire movie without mentioning Elon and you have a movie with a fucking Hyperloop?
Yeah.
Well, they already had their Elon stand-in last movie, so they couldn't use that old chestnut again.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, they do a Hyperloop, and I forget, what's his name dies in it, right? Richard Parker?
Dodson, blah.
He
dies in the Hyperloop.
He dies in the Hyperloop, getting killed, getting spit on and then eaten by Dilophosaurus, just like Newman did. Talk about karmic justice, because he died like the other guy did. Like that guy, he died like him. Guys, do you remember when that happened? Because it's like that. Remember it?
I do remember that. I liked it when it happened then, so I liked it when it happened this time. I hope it happens again and again and again.
Brain
I
make
was wondering
dopamine
too,
go
like
happy.
the Hyperloop, like, yeah. Well, the Hyperloop crashes too, right? Like,
I thought it just like
it ever
stopped.
crashes. It just stops a couple times.
Oh, I always understood the thing with Hyperloops is like if whatever it is gets. Like, if the Hyperloop gets even mildly fucked up, the whole thing, like, explodes, right? Because
it's going so fast, right?
And
they're, like, Hyperloop as intended.
So they solved that problem by making these Hyperloops very slow.
Well, yeah.
It's a subway. It's just a subway.
And, like, Hyperloops are supposed to... Like, the way that they make them, I thought, was that... Because, like, also, he's, like, walking around on the track of a Hyperloop.
Yeah.
But, like, I thought the whole thing with Hyperloops is you suck all the oxygen out, and that's how the things can go so fast.
Right, like he wouldn't be able to breathe.
Yeah.
It's a subway.
And
it's a subway they call the Hyperloop.
Yeah, if you open the door in a Hyperloop, it explodes from depressurization. So, yeah, I don't know what the fuck that was. But, yeah, the geography of the movie is very, very silly. Because, yeah, characters bump into each other that should be nowhere near each other. Because they just took the Hyperloop. Yeah. Like, there's one point where Bryce Dallas Howard, is separated from... The main three, the original three, and they're both separated from Chris Pratt and the pilot. And it's like, no. And also, there's like the clone girl who is mainly Chris Pratt's and Bryce Dallas Howard's kid gets into the plot with the other three. So then they're like ferrying her around. And it's just, it's weird.
She gets rescued by Alan Grant and Ellie Sadler, who they eventually meet up with Ian Malcolm. And they're all traveling together. And it's like, what am I supposed to be learning? Like, what is supposed to be happening here? Why is this character with a bunch of people she's never met? Why is she learning about how much her mom loved her from a person we didn't even know knew her? What?
Oh, God, it's so dumb. Like, they really try to make you invested in Maisie's backstory, and I like couldn't care less. I legit, so in the beginning of the movie, during the Now This, when they're like, and talks of a cloned person on the loose, blah, 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 I was like, oh, wait, is this a thing that Nando was talking about with, like, the dinosaur hybrid person? And then I quickly realized, I'm like, oh yeah, the character from the other movie.
Also, wait, how does the news know about her? Who squealed? It's like, either the parents or some people who died. They're the only ones who knew.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. That's true. Now this just, they make shit up, right?
Pretty
like,
much.
now this was just making shit up.
They just happen to be right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I spun the wheel again, by the way. It landed on one of Diggins's, which I not like refuse to read, but I think it's probably better if you read it.
Is this my first one?
Yeah, it's the longish one.
It's your signature one.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we've got to you tonight quite a match. It's the Rumble in the Jungle, the Dolomites Donnybrook, the Biosyn Brawl. That's right, it's the T-Rex versus the Gigantosaurus.
Pretty cool. Hooray.
Or Giganotosaurus. Fuck, I don't know, man.
It's like Giganotosaurus. Like, it's so clunky.
No, insanely clunky.
Listen, that's not the movie's fault. This is a real dinosaur, but whoever named it should not be allowed to be a paleontologist anymore.
Yeah.
It's the greatest apex predator who ever lived, Diggins.
It's
so
the largest.
Don't you
remember? Greatest and largest, different things.
They make it seem like the greatest. They make this thing seem like a world
beater. Because it's the new Spinosaurus. We got to put it over.
Yeah, it's pretty weird how, like, they do that with... And just, like, how pointless all the dinosaur fights in this movie like that are. Like, in the other movies, it was our characters kind of being stalked by a T-Rex. And it was like, oh my god, that thing's so big. And again, like, we've done this so many times that we had the one dinosaur that I think the peak of this was probably Jurassic World, where it was like, it could control the other dinosaurs, it can camouflage, it had superpowers and all kinds of shit. None of them are as dangerous as that. It
was actually like an evil genetic freak dinosaur that actively wanted to kill the humans, whereas the other ones just acted like they actively wanted to kill the humans. But those dinosaurs, it worked to varying degrees in the other movies. But they were dinosaurs that showed up a lot, were always a direct threat to the protagonists and seemed like they might kill them. Yeah. And like show up at the end as like the thing that's preventing them from leaving, right?
Right.
Yeah.
In this one, the Giganotosaurus shows up twice before the finale. Once when they just look down at it and are like, wow, that's a Giganotosaurus. And Ramsey Cole, the head of the communications at the company who's secretly betraying them, is like, yeah, shit's sick, right? And then a later scene, the T-Rex and the Giganotosaurus fight over a dead deer, and the Giganotosaurus wins, but the T-Rex isn't killed. It just kind of slinks away. And
there's one more time it comes up.
Oh, right. It also attacks them after everybody meets up.
Yeah.
But like,
there's another time it
only
comes
the
up.
ones. What was the other one?
It like when Claire crash lands into the forest.
Nope. Incorrect.
That wasn't the Giganotosaurus?
It was very clearly not, because it also shows up in this final fight, DJ, as a different dinosaur.
Which one's that?
Right. It's the
Therizinosaurus.
The claw one?
Yeah, the one with the...
the one with Wolverine claws. Yeah. That one was weird. That also
weirdly,
seemed like... Yeah.
That one's an herbivore.
Oh.
It's for cutting salads and stuff. It's got those big old claws. It's like...
Actually makes sense.
I mean, and it feels like the thing with that is like, oh, like that dinosaur, when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's like I feel like that's a real dinosaur. But that could be something if they made dinosaurs with just big evil claws and shit. And like dinosaurs with, 2 heads or something. T-Rex with wings. There's all kinds of things they could do. But that would involve a villain that like wants to make evil dinosaurs, which would be cool and interesting. But instead, these villains just want to do something else, which we will get to. Because it is on the wheel. Although I spun the wheel again and we're still not there. Although we are at one of my wheel chunks. It's very important. Yeah.
Hold on. I still have more things to talk about this. Because we
for
haven't
sure.
even gotten to the main thing I brought him up for this wheel. I wanted to bring up with this wheel slice. So the Giganotosaurus, they don't really put it over. It just shows up a couple times. It has the one action scene where it's trying to eat them. But even then, like, I don't know. I mean, all the action scenes in this movie aren't very good, but I really felt no tension in that. I was like, oh wow, all the incredible stars from the other movies are here together. I'm sure one of them's gonna get eaten.
Yeah.
Oh my god. It was so vapid.
Right, and they even did the thing where where Ian Malcolm, does that thing. He bravely takes the flare to distract the dinosaur, and like, oh, okay, that's good. Good for him.
Remember how that was like an important moment of character development for him in the first movie? Well, now he just kind of does it.
Yeah.
That's his superpower.
Yeah.
That's his move.
It's his hands at the T-Rex. Like,
I mean, it's definitely his superpower because he throws a burning locust on a stick into the Giganotosaurus's mouth, and it fucking explodes.
That was incredible. I love that. I was like, whoa, where's the gunpowder?
Yeah, what was up with that, actually, now that I think about it?
That was amazing.
That was insane.
But yeah, so after they've spent this whole movie not putting the Giganotosaurus over, it's just kind of showed up a couple times and done nothing. At the end, they just have to run to the helicopter in the building and escape, right? But then the Giganotosaurus shows up, and then the T-Rex shows up. Oh no! And then the Giganotosaurus and the T-Rex fight while the humans pretty much just calmly walk to the helicopter and leave.
Yeah. This part felt more like a video game, or more realistically, like a theme park ride than any of the rest of the parts.
And it will be.
Yeah, and not even like a cool dark ride, but like one of those rides with everything screens, and like you drive past the screen that's those two fighting, and like it's just like, yeah, there they are, two CGI animals fighting nowhere near me. Cool. Yeah, it's pretty stupid.
Yeah,
and we already.
Sorry, you go.
I was to say, we already did this in Jurassic World. We had the T-Rex fight the new dinosaur, and, like, that was cool then, because it was like, oh, are we going to survive because the one that's on our side is fighting the evil one? But yeah, in this, it's just like, have two dinosaurs fight, because it's the end. And then they do.
Yeah, it's like a Godzilla movie, where we just end with the two monsters fighting, except it's not a Godzilla movie. These have not been the main characters, or even important characters in this movie. It's like if, at the end of Die Hard, like one of the cops who hasn't spoken so far, and one of Alan Rickman's minions who hasn't really had a big role, just like step up and start having a fist fight while John McClane watches, and that's the end of the movie.
That'd be incredible. Make that movie.
Yeah, I mean, that's, yeah. I do think it is made even stupider by the fact that, yeah, these movies have done this before. Like, the third one ends like that. Well, no, the third one doesn't end like this. The third one has that fight in the beginning. But yeah, first one ends like this, the fourth one ends like this, and the fifth one ends like this with the raptor, with Blue fighting whatever the bad thing is in that. But yeah, in this, they just have two dinosaurs. Yeah, we don't know fight. So dumb.
But, like, in those ones, like, I don't think those fights are particularly good for the most part. But, like, there's a thing happening in them. There's a dinosaur that's trying to kill the human characters that we supposedly care about, and there's another dinosaur stopping that from happening. These guys are fighting, and neither of them give a single solitary shit about the humans. It might as well not be there.
It's true.
Yeah, it was wild. I spun the wheel again, you guys. It landed on one of mine. This one has a lot of names, but I'm going to call it Brown People Are Mean to Dinosaurs because that was its first name. Let's talk about what its second name is, the 10 minutes of the movie that almost work. And it's probably more like 20, honestly, but this movie is so long, I lose all concept of time. But because this whole movie was sold to us as what if dinosaurs were in the real world, we do get a teeny tiny bit of that in the middle when they go to Malta.
Malta, yes. Well, Malta is the country. It's probably Valletta would be the city's name.
Yeah. And it's like fine, you know? It's like there's some stuff that's kind of interesting. I mean, it is like underground raptor or like cage fighting of dinosaurs, and like I guess that's interesting, but like I don't know, it just seems so like small potatoes for what dinosaurs are for. Like what's cool about dinosaurs is they're big. But then we also get the chase with the raptors through the city, which Diggins, you had a thing to talk about there.
Sorry, with the raptors being chased through the city.
Well, the raptors chasing our heroes on the motorcycle through the city.
Oh yeah,
at like great speed.
So like on Jeep back and on motorcycle back, yeah, our heroes are running away from some raptors, some Atrociraptors, by the way, not Velociraptors.
Oh, an even cooler name.
They're so loyal. Again, that's what the movie taught me.
In fairness to the movie, a real name that a paleontologist decided to give a species of raptor.
Love it.
Yep.
Although they're actually, you know how Velociraptors are like actually the size of like turkeys?
Yeah, I learned that from you last week.
Yeah, I think that's come up. Yeah,
Atrocioraptors are even smaller.
Oh. So what, like the size of like fucking pigeons? Like
More like chickens.
oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah. So
Man, they maybe like because like how humans like got bigger over time. Maybe like dinosaurs with the genetic whatever got bigger.
There
over
are
time.
raptors that are that big, but they're Deinonychus and Utahraptor are the big ones, and they just never use them. I don't know why.
Stupid names. Cool name.
Saving it for other
Velociraptor,
movies.
Atrocioraptors, dope names.
I mean,
I totally
you got me there.
Yeah. But so yeah, they're chasing
away.
cars.
They're the raptors, because these raptors have been trained that if you shoot someone with a little laser pointer, then they will never stop until that person's dead.
I have a question about this.
Yep.
So when she described the laser, I'm like, oh, it must be some kind of like thermal signature coating. Like I'm thinking a laser, like a heat seeker that you use to like, fire on target. This was a fucking laser pointer. Like, just a laser pointer. And it doesn't have to continue to be lased. It is just like one boop and you're good.
Well, it's like these Atrocioraptors. You know how a lot of the dinosaurs, they've been added in other creatures' DNA in order to make them fill in the gaps in the genome? They put some cat DNA in these Atrocioraptors. And if there's a laser pointer, they just, they lunge for it.
And that's the thing. I have a laser pointer in my house. I could kill anybody I want if there's an Atrocioraptor in town. Because I have a cat. So, it's very easy. It's not like a special colored laser or anything. It's just like any red laser. And also, I want to say, I'm not sure about this. I'd have to rewatch it. I believe there's a part when the villain lady, the one from Severance, shoots a laser at Bryce Dallas Howard when they're fighting in the house, which that fight fucking blows. But that's just like a two-person
It's the worst one in the movie.
It's insane.
Easily.
But yeah, they're fighting in the house, and then there's a raptor that shows up, and she lasers Bryce Dallas Howard. I don't think the raptor's looking at them. I think the raptor's almost in another room, and I'm like, I guess maybe the raptor saw it for half of a second, but it almost treats the movie like the raptors are linked telepathically with the villains because they're able to just it's like they could smell the laser. It's not good.
No, but so having had their murder boners turned on for our human heroes, which of course raptors don't have, because as I explained last week, dinosaurs have cloacas.
Yep, slurry, as we all know,
There's a slurry that comes out of it, and when they reproduce, they use the cloacal kiss.
DJ hates it when they cloacal kiss in the movies.
Worst.
Yeah.
Why would you just keep doing it for long stretches of time? It's so dumb.
Yeah.
It's not. It gets boring after a while.
I cannot disagree more. We need more cloacal kisses in our movies.
Yeah, be sure to send all of your cloacal kiss footage to Nando. He can't get enough of it.
Well, as we described, send it to DJ because his DMs are open and he'll forward it.
My DMs are open.
That's another thing you can send to DJ. But yeah, so they're chasing them, they're after them, whatever. They are crashing into walls, being beaten about the head with metal pipes, just full speed slamming into the ground. And not only do they not give up chasing them, they don't even slow down. And they don't slow down for they're going to an airfield where character who has inexplicably decided to join them and will never explain why. She just decided she wants to be in the movie now. To her plane, which is well outside of the city. We see the path leading out of the city to the airfield at one point. And it's a long journey. And these raptors have been keeping pace with that motorcycle the entire time.
Yeah.
They're so good.
And they're so close.
Their little legs
they're
are so good.
A foot behind at all times.
Yeah, and they don't even seem tired. They're just fine.
Yeah.
And it's so, I don't know if you guys know this, but humans are some of the best marathon runners on the planet.
I hear we're pretty good.
Which is to say that, we're not fast. We're not particularly fast, but we have a lot more stamina than most animals. We can keep going for a long time, and most animals can't do that.
Damn right you can. That's what they say.
Especially predators, who are much more inclined to short bursts of extreme speed so they can catch a prey and then eat it.
Right.
So you would think that raptors fall under this category, where they can go very fast for very short periods of time. But apparently, they got the best of both worlds. Maybe these raptors have had human DNA spliced in, because they can run very fast for miles.
Yep.
These are finally the ones we were looking for. These are the human dinosaur hybrids.
Oh my god, that's right.
We needed.
Yeah. And this is like maybe where I'm like, I could take a raptor, because I could definitely lose a raptor in a chase, because as we see every single fucking time, whenever a raptor gets close to you, what do? What's the rule?
You turn
slightly. Hand out?
You turn a corner. Yep. And then they slip and slide like it's the 4th of July and they're on the lawn and you just and then hit something, because they're so bad at turning corners that yeah, you're fine. Just go somewhere in another direction.
You got to get to somewhere with corners though. I feel like that's the big.
Yeah, what if they catch you on an open plane?
Wow, then you're fucked. But luckily, Malta, lots of corners. The whole country, too. Not just that one city. I think Malta is like Maltese for corner. I think that's the direct
you were
conjugation.
Very close. Maltese.
There we go. Oh, yeah, they're right. Like the falcon. So I do want to say one other thing about this scene that's so insane. Because we talked about kind of the raptors. The humans also die like 50 times in this scene. And I think they almost get it with Claire, because Claire keeps getting, like, falling and hitting stuff and being, like, borderline killed. But the movie forgets about that by the time they get to the island. But yeah, the humans are indestructible Supermen in this as well.
Well, are you suggesting that any mere mortal could kill Duke Thunderguns?
I was going to say, yeah, especially that American, muscle, that salute the American man. It's hard to get him.
This is out of order, but I just want to say, I find it so funny about Duke Thunderguns, where throughout the entire movie, whenever people meet Alan and Ellie or Ian, like any of the old Jurassic Park characters, all the characters in the movie are like fawning, like, oh, it's you guys, you're so famous, I love you,
God.
You're great, you're the best. And it's like, okay, like I get it, because we love them because of the old movies, or you think we do anyway. I mean, I do like these characters, but not in this movie. So you want these characters to express the things we're feeling. When Duke Thunderguns meets them, he's like, oh, hey.
Yeah.
Right? Oh my gosh.
Like for a second,
lame.
I was like, does he not even know who they are? Because he just doesn't react at all.
No, it's super weird. I don't think he does. I think he's just lived in that, like, trailer thing for a while, just drinking Coca-Cola and working on motorcycles and also training dinosaurs, but he never...
And negging women.
Negging women and going on one date and it didn't work or whatever. And then what did he do in the second one? More of that, probably. And then the third one, he lives in the cabin. So I don't think he seems like the kind of guy, too, that doesn't own a TV or anything like that. He doesn't even know.
He does say, like, Dr. Grant, I've read your book, but it's not with that level of enthusiasm that I just explained. It's like, oh, yeah, Dr. Grant, I think I read your book.
Oh, yeah, you're that book guy. You write books, I think? That's what you're famous for?
Well, then he says, well, book on tape, just so we know that he's not some kind of liberal academic who reads books.
What an American guy. I like him. Vote for Duke. Yeah, it's pretty awful. Where else are they going with this? What else? Anything else about Malta? It is like when the raptors are hunting the people and running through streets and stuff. And there's, what else is weird? You know what really pissed me off about the Malta bit? And I do think we kind of glossed over this, but there is this, like, we're in America and yeah, we're factory farming the pig / triceratopses or whatever. But it's mostly just like us lassoing very gently and being nice to the dinosaurs and stuff. And then the first time we go to another country, we're fucking... It's like chicken fighting and auctions and evil things for evil non-Americans to do. But
and to your point, it's a lot. There are no white people committing these dinosaur-related crimes in another country.
No, so, and when a white person comes in, another character's like, "Listen, you're white. Get away from this dinosaur crime life. This ain't for you."
Yeah, right.
So yeah, the movie. Everybody knows what kinds of people this movie thinks do dinosaur crimes. But one thing about this movie that was so... What's up?
But we wouldn't say anything about that. But I did have something I wanted to bring up about this scene. So if you were going to move on, I have one more thing I want to say about this.
Well, I was going to say the other thing about this scene that blows my mind is part of the villains led by the Severance person go and... First of all, they send these raptors that they have the laser pointers for after our heroes, because our heroes, including the guy from Lupin, or not Lupin. Is it Lupin? No, it's the other thing.
Cowboy Bebop?
Oh, no, is he from Cowboy Bebop?
I have no idea.
Oh, no, what's that French show about the thief?
Oh, Lupin. Yeah.
Oh, it is Lupin. Okay, yeah, that guy.
Yeah,
He's in this.
Lupin.
Yeah, he's the friend
Well,
from
that's
the
how it's
first
pronounced
movie,
in
I guess.
French. In English, we typically say Lupin.
Ah, okay. Yeah, so those guys are fighting because there's all kinds of shit. It's because it's not even like, oh, we gotta stop the bad guys. It's like that, and then also like the FBI's there or something to also stop them. It's chaos.
Oh yeah, this is like the most. This dude in this scene, the like French intelligence agent, is the most like remember this guy part of this movie where I go, who?
Yeah, it's pretty stupid. But so they go and they release the raptors to get those guys, but also the villains release all of the dinosaurs to create chaos and like there's the bit where Duke Thunderguns is riding his motorcycle being chased by some raptors and he turns a corner and there's big old dinosaurs eating people, the two that he had whooshed away with his hands before. But like they kept going and killed other people that didn't love them as much. And it's like
Carnotaur and an Allosaurus.
Oh, see, I remember the Carnotaur because that's the evil one with the horns,
That's
right?
the devil horns, yeah.
Yeah. Now what's the Allosaurus? Let's Google
It's
this.
like a T-Rex, but it's not.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Yeah. So that thing is like, and they're like eating tourists and stuff, or just like people in the street.
Way more than 37. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Well, this is
this
is outside of America where bad things are happening.
Oh, right,
because
right,
they're
right.
breaking the dinosaur laws instead of factory farming them, which doesn't count, or I guess doesn't kill the people. But the thing here is, I remember this shot where he turns the corner and sees the dinosaurs fighting in the trailer as like, oh right, that's what this movie is. It's the dinosaurs are out in the world doing everything, and this movie goes through so much trouble to put the dinosaurs in cages and then release the dinosaurs to get to the status quo that the first movie was already like that this movie should have had from the start. It's so like you kind of get there and you're like, oh cool, dinosaurs are free from their cages and they're gonna kill everybody. Good job, movie. That's a cool thing. But then you're like, wait a second, no, you put them back in the cages. It's your fault. Like you don't get you don't get brownie points for being good if you were being bad earlier. As much as I think that sequence is kind of cool, it's only cool because you broke it earlier in this movie. The whole movie should have been this, obviously. But, what were you going to say?
Don't worry, Nando. After this Malta scene, we will be sure to fly off to the private sanctum of dinosaurs that looks just like the jungle from the islands in the other movies, where there are no other people.
And the tunnels from the second movie as well. We even get more, because there was some tunnel shit in the last one. It's the same movie.
Yeah. But so I think this scene, though, especially the part you were just talking about where the Carnotaur and the Allosaurus have been let loose, is a perfect demonstration of what I was talking about with the 37, where it's like people in this movie act like it's only 37 people a year. Because nobody, not even just like nobody's panicked that these fully grown carnivorous dinosaurs have been let loose. Nobody even acts like they noticed.
Yeah, right.
Everyone in the black market den when they get loose is just kind of like still doing what they were doing before. They're not responding in any way. And then even in this scene, when he turns the corner and they're like in a public square in Valletta, just like going hog wild, everyone's just like walking calmly, acting like they're not even there. Even the guy they eat is like biking slowly next to them like he doesn't even see them.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
It's so crazy. It's like they
really
had to use stock footage of Valletta that they spliced dinosaurs into. 'Cause I have no idea why nobody cares, but it certainly makes me not care.
Well, like, what's wild is the movie glosses over this in the beginning, but it's been 4 years, right? So did people just adjust in that time frame? Like, it must have been chaos in the beginning. Like, so I don't remember, but how clear the events of, like, Jurassic World 2 Fallen Kingdom were, like, made to the public. So, like, did one day there was, like, people were just around and it's like, oh my god, a T-Rex! Like, how did this...
Yeah, I mean,
like, how did this
yada
happen?
yada yada over it because the movies are bad. Because that is the most interesting part of these. But
Well, DJ, the thing is, though, it's like there's a difference between. I know that bears exist. If I found out that a bear was somewhere, I wouldn't be shocked by that. Bears are creatures that are alive in this world, and they are completely normal to me. If I was walking around in a city and I turned a corner and there was a bear eating somebody, I would have a reaction to that.
No, you wouldn't. That's what you think. But if after 4 years of bear eatings, you would just go back to normal, business as usual. Open up the businesses.
Yeah,
yeah. What are we gonna do? Let business.
We're no longer mandated to keep our bear spray on us at all times.
Exactly.
It's like if you haven't gotten your bear vaccination, then you don't need the bear spray. And honestly, people just get mad when we tell them we have to give them bear spray. So even though it would make a lot of people safer, it's better if we don't make them do it. Even though A, it would make them safer, and B, they won't do it if we don't tell them to.
Listen,
but
bears...
it would infringe their rights if we gave them bear spray.
Also, bears are endemic. They're not going anywhere, and they're only killing slow people and the elderly and children. So... what are we going to do? Live in fear of the bears? No, we have to get eaten by them all the time. Because there's no other way except the other way, which we've chosen we don't like. Speaking of things we don't like, I spun the wheel again. It landed on one of mine. We got two more after this. This is a good one, though. This is an important one. This one's called Hal. It's about locusts. So this movie is about locusts for some reason.
Oh, you broke Diggins. Yeah. You broke Diggins.
I'm lightheaded.
That's what this movie is. It's a movie about locusts. And sometimes dinosaurs show up the same way. Sometimes Jeff Goldblum shows up. Dinosaurs and actors are starring in the Locust movie. Now, I remember seeing this on Twitter before I saw this movie. It's like, there's a lot of locusts going on. And I said, how much could it possibly be? I haven't seen any of the trailers, and how could that even factor into the plot? But it turns out even though all the Clone Girl shit has basically, nothing to do with the locusts, but, you don't need her for any of it. They're already doing the locust thing. That is the main driver that gets our legacy characters into the movie.
They need her to fix the locusts. They already did the locusts, and we need Clone Girl to undo the locusts. A goal on which everybody is aligned.
Yes. Which is so strange.
Well, except one guy. There's one guy who's not down.
The other guy isn't the locusts must be allowed to destroy the world. He just doesn't give a shit.
Well, right. And when this is sold to us, I guess it's Ellie has already heard from Malcolm or someone, and she's telling it to Alan, and she's like, it's a conspiracy. Oh no, this is when Ellie Sattler is told about it, right? I forget. But someone's like, they're eating all the crops. They're devastating all the crops. What about your neighbor's crops? Well, those had biocin pesticides in them. So it's just very clear. They're not. They're selling the disease.
They're the seeds.
Right.
This is just she got called in because she's an expert on soil or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Which it makes sense, right? Because she was a paleobotanist. That was why she was brought to the island originally in the first one. So. Yeah, it's this conspiracy, which makes total sense to us, the audience, from jump. They are selling they're causing the problem that they're selling the cure to. So that is their plan, and that's how they're going to make money, and that's all they want because they want money because they're a corporation because they're bad. And she brings Grant on, and she gets in, and then meets Malcolm, and it turns out he's on the Resistance, and then also that guy that they hung out on the Hyperloop with is also on the Resistance, and then. It turns out that wasn't even really the plan the whole time, kind of. There are, it's the movie overcomplicates this locust stuff so much. I don't...
Yeah, it's really dumb.
I don't understand the, hoops it jumps through.
Well, the thing...
For a nothing, by the way. It's a total nothing.
Yeah, the thing is, it's So, we had this, like you said, we have this locust thing. We set up the stakes clearly. They're about to destroy the world. This company's doing it to make money. We have a scene where they talk about it, and BD Wong is they're growing outside of our control. And Lewis Dodson is I don't care. Perfectly clear conflict.
Yep.
But then, in that scene, where he's talking to BD Wong. He's like, yeah, it was just some side project I don't give a shit about. This isn't our plan. Like,
Yeah.
This means nothing to me. I care more about doing other things. And it's like, what are those other things? Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I don't know. Clone Girl stuff, I guess. But yeah. Hyperloops, maybe. Maybe this guy is a hyperloop magnate who just has his hands in a lot of pots. I mean, this seems to be the only hyperloop, I guess. But yeah, it's like, and also, with the first time the locusts show up, you see a locust invasion.
Oh my goodness! Can we 2 minutes on this because it's pretty buck wild?
Yeah,
Okay, hold on.
So
hold on.
without-
I'm going to set up a
It
timer.
is
I'm
apropos
setting
of
up a
nothing.
timer.
There's no warning. It's like, hey, you hear about
Give me
these
one-
locusts? It's
Yeah,
just
hold on. Okay, go.
Yeah, so it's just a movie about dinosaurs, and then you get these kids, I think, on a farm, and then just locusts descend on the farm, and you're like, oh no, that's bad. And then one of them gets in the door, and it's the size of a cat, and they kill it with a stick, and it's like, wait, why are we seeing this? And it's like, I don't hate dinosaurs. I'm a little scared of a dinosaur that, turns a corner slowly or whatever, but I'm fucking terrified of, locusts and locusts the size of cats. This is my nightmare. And I love that the movie just dumped it on me with no warning for no reason.
right, and it's it's so confusing and jarring because, I don't know, maybe if it was in every, 3 trailers in total that I saw, I would have been, kind of ready. And, oh, yeah, there's going to be some locusts that happen. Get ready for that. But it's just nowhere. And, also, what happened to the kids? Did the kids die? Are they okay? We don't see the kids again.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of locusts outside of that barn.
I mean,
Well, these kids also...
I don't think the locusts kill people.
No,
I
don't think
they're maybe a little painful to get stuck in a swarm, and it's certainly disgusting. But I don't think they ever really hurt anybody in the entire movie. That's the thing. In this movie about genetic freaks killing and eating people, sure, we can have a non-dinosaur genetic freak. That's fine. There are non-dinosaurs in these movies to begin with, but that's just because some reptile things that look like dinosaurs aren't dinosaurs.
Right.
But the locusts are only a threat because they eat all the food. They're not really very dangerous to you, a human being.
Yeah. They're just gross. I don't like them. I don't like that scene where they're in the room with them and they all wake up and try to eat or whatever. The 2 characters we like that aren't Jeff Goldblum is awful.
That's 2 minutes.
Well, that's fair. I mean, that's all I have to say is I hated it, but it was the whole movie, which was great. We have 2 more things on the wheel. One's very important, and one's so unimportant it's not even funny. Thank God it landed on the so unimportant it's not even funny one. This is one of mine. Just a little thing. You guys, I have a question.
Okay.
Isn't coffee funny? Isn't coffee funny? There's lots of parts of coffee. There's too many. There's too much coffee.
Guys, can you imagine wanting soy milk in your coffee?
Oh, my God.
A cappuccino? No, let's get a cortado. What? That's a
Whoa,
silly name for a thing.
What? Oh, did you know that if you make a coffee thing, sometimes the machine makes a lot of noises?
Oh my God! It is the thing. People that wear hats and do dinosaurs hate that. It is their least favorite thing. If you are a man, do not like coffee. It is beneath you. I'm sure Duke Thunderguns would never even touch the stuff. Or he would a nice cup of American coffee. He would have that coffee that's called heart attack death coffee or something.
Death Wish. He loves Death Wish.
That's what it's called. Yeah, but he would never touch a cortado.
If Duke Thunderguns had been in this scene, that guy would have started listing off coffees, and he would have slapped the glasses off of his face.
Yeah,
he
would have flipped over the table like Jesus in the Money Traders. Just what are you doing? This fine American establishment shouldn't have coffee. Except for the one coffee, and maybe Coca-Cola. That's the coffee I drink, he would say. What brand of coffee is this? I couldn't give less of a shit. It's not.
Yeah,
branded.
how am I supposed to pose perfectly with my hand not covering even a fraction of the label of this fine beverage?
Speaking of that, was there any product placement in this? I'm trying to remember. There probably was, right? Because it's this.
Some cars?
I mean,
yeah, I think
always cars.
There were a lot of Acuras in these usually, I think, maybe. I feel like I saw commercials for that.
Bunch of toys they're going to sell, probably.
A lot of toys, yeah. I feel like...
But light on SpawnCon.
Yeah.
Light on SpawnCon.
Surprisingly so.
I mean, Did you guys get the god awful like Minions trailer like right before?
Yeah, with the plane.
That was a nightmare. Oh my god.
Love the Minions, love them. That's the
no, there was the plane one, but then there was like the one with dinosaurs, like right before it's like Jurassic World. It's like, oh, Jurassic World with Minions.
Oh no, I didn't.
Did you get that, Diggins?
No.
Oh god, there was like a little. It was almost like the like Tom Cruise thanking you for seeing Top Gun in theaters. Where like right before the movie was like, hey, the Minions are like fucking around with dinosaurs. Go see Minions.
Sounds like kind of shit they do. Well, they were around for dinosaur times, right? I want to say historically in these movies, the Minions helped the T-Rexes.
The Minions have been around helping evil people, except during the 1930s and 40s.
Yeah, they were busy. They fell asleep or some shit. They got locked in the cave. Yeah. So yeah, the coffee thing, really dumb. A great joke from 20 years ago.
That goes on for so long?
Well, yeah, in the first bit you see it and it's like he's like, "Oh, what am I going to have? A cortada." And then you see Ian Malcolm and Ellie have their little conversation where he slips her the key card and like you're like, "Oh, he's part of the resistance too." And then we go back to Grant and do more of that joke. Like another 5 or 6 lines.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we already got the point. Like,
yeah.
Ian Malcolm's doing it on purpose to like hide the noise.
It's like the people writing this movie, they wrote out that whole like coffee scene, thinking it was so funny, and then like someone else came in and was like, or like the co-writer came in and was like, yeah, I don't know. This joke feels like it goes on too long. You should probably like cut half of it. You know, it's just like it's too much. And they're like really begrudgingly, we're like, fine, it's the best joke I've ever written, whatever.
Yeah.
And then like when the co-writer left, they were like, I'm gonna put it back in after this other part. You know, fuck you. I'll be in the movie. You're never gonna notice.
Yeah. And these movies, the first Jurassic Park movie, and even the second and third one, but the first one, I mean, is so fucking funny. It is like not like laugh a minute, you know, liar liar or something like that, but it is such good humor that all relies on like editing and one-liners and kind of silly moments. And this movie has none of that because it has this. Like it has this copy and paste, like what are things that people find silly. And I'm guessing people find silly and are easily translated into other languages without kind of losing all of the jokes. Because like we said, this movie made a lot of money overseas. And I feel like with these movies, they tend to try to paint the broadest brush possible so they don't lose jokes in the edit, in translation. So,
I mean, there's two kinds of jokes in this movie. There's that one, and then there's also where I feel like the screenwriter wrote, Jeff Goldblum says the first thing that pops into his head here.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, and it kills me.
Apartments.com.
Yeah.
Yes.
It always bugs me in these movies how they get Jeff Goldblum and make him boring. Like, the Jeff Goldblum in the real world is so much more interesting than the Jeff Goldblum in these movies. And it wasn't necessarily true in the 90s, maybe, or wasn't something at least I've seen in interviews as much. But, like, now he's so weird, and you see him in doing like a Duke Thunderguns impression in these movies, and it's like, don't do that. Have this guy have gotten so weird and eccentric in the last 20 years that he is the new Jeff Goldblum. But yeah, I don't know. This movie's really dumb.
I mean, the first one, like, yeah, his character is kind of weird and has eccentricities, but he's also like a character who, like, you know, exists separate from Jeff Goldblum. So it feels fine because it's like, yeah, maybe he's like, you know, not as kind of weird and out there as Jeff Goldblum, but that's because he's also this philosopher paleontologist guy who occupies this space in this movie and serves a character function. But like when they bring him back for these world movies, he's just like, hey guys, you remember Jeff Goldblum? He's going to say chaos theory.
And the same thing with the other two, Sam Neill, especially Sam Neill, who like we just got done watching Jurassic Park 3, which is the last one of these he's been in. Where his whole thing is like, I don't want to do dinosaur parks anymore. Like, please, God, stop putting me in the dinosaur parks. And he goes to this dinosaur park with pretty much no convincing because, and this is on the wheel, but I do, like, the movie decides that he is in love with Ellie Sattler. And they are a couple, and I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Because it's just the most boring relationship those two characters could have. And I love the whole... I like their relationship in the first two as just like, you know, kind of coworkers who have to be surrogate parents for these kids. But like, I don't know, they're just two adults. But in this, it's like, obviously they've been in love the whole time, and she can get him to go to the island if she wants, easily.
Well, I do feel like there was some romantic undertones to their relationship in the first one, but then in the third one, it's like, yeah, you know, she moved on, married someone else, and he actually does seem mostly fine with it.
Yeah.
It is like such whiplash. Like, if you were to go just from Jurassic Park OG to Jurassic World this, you'd be like, all right, I guess this blossomed. But like going from Jurassic Park 3 to this, it really is like whiplash. Like, wait, what? Did I miss something in the middle?
Well, yeah, and it's like...
I thought we resolved this.
And Jurassic Park 1 is, like, it's not necessarily... The arc is that, you know, he hates kids. And then by the end of the movie, he has saved kids. It's not necessarily that he hates family, and by the end of the movie, he has found family. Because it just happens to, create a little nuclear family with the pairing. So it almost, like, I feel like the vibe in the first Jurassic Park is he gets there and he's single and he's like, she's hot. I'm going to go after her. Like, I'm going to spend time with her a little bit. And then Ian Malcolm horns in on her, and he's like cool, sexy chaos theory guy. So then he's like, shucks, I don't like this guy at all. Because I wanted to do sex to her.
I am pretty sure they did know each other before they get to the park. Like, I think they work together.
Oh, is it true? That's probably true. Because, like, that's probably how, what's his name? Hammond sells him going to the thing. But
also, they didn't know what the park was when he invites them. They just know that he is some, like, rich guy who has an interest in dinosaurs and invites them to see something.
Right. Yeah, you know, those movies are cool, and this one blows.
Sorry, I was just because you mentioned it. I also feel like when the convincing Alan Grant to come and do a Jurassic Park is like, it does that Fast and Furious thing where it pretends the earlier movies were like the new ones, even though they really weren't.
Yeah,
because like she's like, come to the dinosaur park with me and come get some evidence so we can take him down, and he's like, I don't do that kind of thing anymore. You never did that kind of thing. You showed up to a park as an invited paleontologist to, you thought, look at some dinosaur bones, and then got trapped on a dinosaur park. And then you were kidnapped and lied to by some people thinking you were just going to look at some dinosaurs from a plane and ended up trapped on a dinosaur island. You have never voluntarily done this stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true. It's like, you've been very clear about your thoughts on this.
Yeah. But it is like the very, like, not like Hollywood, but this, you know, legacy characters coming into the sequel. Like, you want to go to the dinosaur park? Not really. Please? Okay. Like, I'll go. It's important to you. I'm like, oh, you're already there too. That's great. Like, it's just so boring. Like, I think you could have, I don't know. I don't think anybody would have been mad if you just dropped Chris Pratt, Bryce Dallas Howard, all those guys, and just focused on these three and did them. And maybe, like, the other ones could cameo in the very end. But, like, if they had a whole movie where they really developed these three, that could have been fun. But instead, they just show up.
It's also perfect thing of where we can't do, like, subtlety or theme anymore. It has to be all painfully literal. Where it's like you said in the first one, they are surrogate parents to these kids and he learns to like kids. But they're not, like, literally their parents or anything. They're two adults in a dangerous situation who look after these kids because they need somebody. And now it's like they literally have adopted the clone daughter, and she calls them mom and dad because that's the only way you can identify a parent relationship in this movie.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Duke Thunderguns is the ultimate dad because he has to be. So,
man, the beginning sets it up, kind of the classic thing where it's like, she's like, oh, mom, you can't tell me what to do. And then when Duke Thunderguns shows up, she's like, oh, it's dad, hooray, I love my dad. But in the interactions we see with them, like, Claire is, like, so good and nice with her and, like, seems like a caring, involved parent. And Duke Thunderguns is like, don't do things. So am I a prisoner? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally says, like, oh, like, why can't I go out? Like, I want to see shit. And he's like, because I said so. Well, I'm like, who is this character?
It's not even that. It's, so why can't I have any freedom? Because you can't. Not like, you don't
Oh, yeah.
literally
Oh,
have
my
no
God.
freedom. I understand it feels confining, but no, he's like literally like, yeah, you're right. You don't have freedom and you never will.
Yeah.
It's like he really does say it like with that like intensity. That's like, why is that this character? Like,
Well, that
is it because like
that
the daughter
comports-
like has to be correct?
Well, no, the daughter's wrong. He's right that the world is dangerous because she gets kidnapped instantly.
Yeah, that day.
Sure, the
Like-
movie proves that out.
Also, I always ask this question because in the movies it's very unclear. How long do you think this movie takes place? Like over
Oh,
They
like
say,
a
like
day.
the movie.
a day? Yeah.
Like from the
Where-
time of her being kidnapped to her being rescued,
Well,
same day.
The locusts jump a continent, so I feel like that's supposed to assume some kind of like time shift.
Yeah, is there like how long? Where is the final
Okay.
battle like
Here's what-
area?
Here's what I'll say: when they arrive at Biosyn, that is one day. Everything at
Right.
Biosyn is a single day,
Okay, sure.
That makes sense. Yeah.
which actually includes, now that I think about it, them flying from Malta. To be fair, Malta's
Right.
not that far from Italy, but still.
In that crappy little plane that doesn't even have radios or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Oh
And then-
my god.
That crappy little plane that doesn't have radios, and then also when it shows up, Luz Dodson is like, "Oh, they've showed up. Turn off the dinosaur suppressants so they can be murdered."
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
What? Why? Just be like, you're not allowed here. You're not authorized here. If you land here, then my security will detain you until the cops show up because you're trespassing. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many options before murder.
Because it's just that he knows that's what he's supposed to do in this movie at this point, so he does it. Because that's how these scripts go. Last thing on the wheel, we spin the wheel last time. And I did spin it. I pressed the button just so it could have happened. But it landed on something that Diggins said. I think this is a great place to close this all out. Everything is important and nothing matters.
So, this is something we've reiterated throughout the entire discussion of this movie, which is that there is so much that's, like, going on in this movie. There's the locusts, how they're going to destroy the world. Ellie and Alan are infiltrating Biosyn to find out about the locusts. Clone Girl is kidnapped along with Baby Raptor, who was birthed by parthenogenesis, which is the first dinosaur to do that. And Claire and Owen are going to save her. In the middle of them doing that, they meet up with and befriend this pilot who decides to join them. And the bad guy is like scheming or whatever in the middle of this. There are so many things and so many plot lines were like bouncing back and forth cutting between different people. And like not a single one of it feels like it matters at all. No, it feels like everyone's just doing busy work until the movie can be over.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because the movie knows that the end of it has to be all the people running away in a jungle from dinosaurs. And, like, the conditions for that, while they could exist in the world we, like, set the second movie ends in, they don't in the world that this movie begins in. So it's all just weird little moves to get people to go to the island and run away from dinosaurs for the trailer. And yeah, that's why like the ending with all of the clone stuff and all of the locust stuff just feels so hollow. It's because nothing happens.
And it's like... Oh, no, you go, DJ.
I was just gonna say, I can't for the life of me figure out, like, why the locusts are a thing. Just because, like, even, like, the people in the movie don't care that it might be Armageddon. The fucking, what was it, like, the CIA is like, oh yeah, the thing that, there's a thing eating all our food and all our food's food, so we're all gonna die, so, pack your bags, gents. Like, it's, even the movie has an apathy for, like, what is going on inside it. It's so weird.
Yeah, that is weird, actually.
And but yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's so weird. And there's just, and this, with everything happening, it's like you said, there's so much setup work being done. We've got to set up the locust. We've got to set up why Alan and Ellie are there. We got to set up why Ian's there. We got to set up what Claire and Owen have been doing. We got to set up how they get to the island. We got to set up, how they all meet up once they're all on the island, or it's not an island. It's like a mountains valley in Italy.
It might as well be an island.
It might as well be an
They treat
island.
it like it's an island.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But that means there's no time to like actually do any character work or set up any themes. it's all so mechanical. It's just things happening one after the other. It's this weird thing where you're like, I'm sitting in a scene and I'm like, oh my God, I want this scene to be over. And then the scene ends and I'm like, oh, thank God, for 2 seconds. And then the next scene starts and I'm like, oh, fuck, I don't care about this either.
Yeah,
I wish the last scene kept going. At least when they were in the underground pit fighting, that seemed like it might have been cool. You get the guy's undercover or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like I think there are like some moments in this movie that if isolated, or thoughts in this movie that if isolated and kind of followed to their conclusions, are movies and like are almost like a logical endpoint of the Jurassic Park series. The locust thing's a little weird. The clothing's a little weird. But if like they just took that one idea and really went with it, then yeah, this could be a movie. But it is just all these ideas smushed together, and there's so many of them, and so many things that are dangerous, and laser-guided raptors, and fucking pteranodons or pterodons or whatever, and wild, and like factory-farmed triceratopses, which is like the first scene with what's her name that's so dumb. But like, yeah, none of it, you don't get any time for any of it.
It's crazy, this movie. Like, I know it sounds bananas, but this wasn't like a part 2 or like part 1. Like Jurassic Park Dominion, part 1, part 2.
Well,
like, I feel like these fuckers would have done it.
Well, that's because it turns out there is a merciful God in this world.
Well, I didn't stick around. Is there a post-credit scene for this movie?
Nah.
There is not.
Okay, cool. Thank God. But it is making a lot of money. It's made like 150 mil domestic, like we were saying, like 200 international. So, I don't know. You think we'll get another one of these?
Can we talk about that for a second? So, where the movie leaves off is like, it's so dumb because it's a video of like Maisie's mom, the clone.
in this movie where the premise is we're gathering every beloved character who's still alive from everyone in the movie. The like closing denouement narration is done by a character we've never met.
Yeah.
And also that denouement, as Diggins put it so lovely, is like about how we all have to live with all of the creatures of the world, and everyone, we must live in harmony. And it's like to a montage of like fucking dinosaurs, just like with like horses and rhinoceros on the African plain, and it's like, yes, we'll all live in harmony together. And it's like, bruh, I don't think she meant like, but also with dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Like, I think she just meant with like the ecosystems that already exists. Like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, living with dinosaurs? Are you crazy?
Yeah, and the whole like this movie ends with the same shit from the last one. Except now, for no reason, the dinosaurs aren't attacking people. It's not, and the dinosaurs aren't dangerous. They're nice, and it's more of that. Like
the dinosaurs were apparently never dangerous since they only killed 37 people a year.
But yeah, it's like in the end of the last one, Ian Malcolm's like, if we don't make a peace with the dinosaurs, this will become a fallen kingdom or whatever. I don't know. He has like a little speech. And then at the end of this one,
it'll become a Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom 2018.
Yeah, exactly. It might as well be that. And so he gives that little speech, and then nothing changes fundamentally, because in that one it's like dinosaurs let out. That's bad. In this one it's like dinosaurs let out. That's bad. Or like they're already let out. But yeah, we haven't done anything differently. The heroes have, rescued the little girl and stopped the locusts, but it's not like the locusts were the reason that the dinosaurs were bad. So the fact that this movie ends with this very peaceful, like, oh, things are going to be okay for you. No, they're not. The last movie ended with this, and look where we are now. Nothing's changed.
It should be noted, by the way, that also the heroes did nothing to solve the locust problem. If anything, they almost prevented the locust problem from being solved. Because
that's true.
BD Wong just... like you said, she gets kidnapped, the clone girl, and then BD Wong's like, I need to study you to stop the locusts. And so, like, if they just let him do that, then he would have solved the problem. There wouldn't have been any dinosaur outbreak. No one would have died. Everything would have been fine.
Yeah.
And like, you can be like, but Louis Dodgson is a bad man, and he would have done bad things. And it's like, yeah, he's a bad man. I have no problem agreeing with that, but like, as far as we know, he really didn't have any bad plans besides this locust one that he was trying to have fixed. Or at least was willing to let be fixed, rather.
Yeah, because there's a lot of points in this movie where, like, someone like Ian Malcolm will be revealed to Dodson that he has been working behind his back, and it's like, all right, hand in your key card, go home. There's not like a guy that's gonna shoot him or something. Like it's very like, oh, all right, well, you got me. Now go home, talk about it or whatever. It's fine. I'm not really that worried about it.
Later, his, like, head of communications, Ramsey, who, in this scene, I found out was, like, his right-hand man and most trusted associate.
Yep.
Because that was not clear at all at any point before this. But in that scene, he's like, you're my most trusted right-hand man, and we're going to salvage this. And Ramsey goes, no, you are the bad man, and I will not do these bad things with you anymore. And he's like, my most trusted associate has betrayed me. I guess I better do fucking nothing about it.
Yep.
Sucks to be me right about now, am I right, fellas?
He's both, like, utterly impotent. Nothing he does matters or, like, changes anything. I mean, I guess he mildly inconveniences the heroes at several points. Which, again, he does for no reason. I guess Ellie and Alan, he's trying to stop them from, like, revealing that he created the locust problem.
Right.
Like, the other guys are just trespassing on your property and you can have them arrested. You don't have to jump to murder. But then also, like, the only thing we have about what he's planning to do, besides this locust thing, is he's like, he is what he says, which is basically like, oh yeah, no money? I mean, sure, we make money, but it's not what I care about. I want to, like, study stuff to find cures for genetic diseases and, like, help the world and stuff. And it's like, I'm sure he wants to sell that and make money, but there's never any indication that that's not true. I mean, that's what studying Clone Girl is for.
Yeah.
So, like, what so terrible would have happened if the heroes never got involved in this movie?
Yeah, Locust would have been fine.
Would Clone Girl...
Yeah, like, what would have happened to Clone Girl? Because they did rescue her.
I guess. I mean, I guess she would have had to live in Biosyn from then on, which would have sucked for her.
Was that their plan for her, by the way? It's like, you live here now.
It's not clear, because after BD Wong is like, this is why we needed you. Will you please help me? She just escapes immediately, and then they never discuss what they wanted with her ever again.
Yeah.
Like, again, such a slam dunk thing. That's what BD Wong wanted her for, but Dodgson wanted her for some other reason that's bad. Or he wanted the good things, but he wanted them by, like, imprisoning her and, like, stealing her organs or whatever, you know? And he's like, well, you're just a clone. I don't care. Like, bam. Instant villain. But no, he sucks as a person, but he doesn't seem like what he wants to do is particularly evil.
Yeah. It's really weird. This is like, it's also, like, it's easy to forget how bad this villain is. As, like, a villain.
Yeah, he sucks.
Because, like, remember the last one, or the first Jurassic World movie? Bad villain. The villain was, like, kind of BD Wong, although not really. But you had that weird, like billionaire guy who, like, decided to fly the helicopter and died in, like, a helicopter crash. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
Like, that character makes sense in a world like this. As, like, yeah, that's why the park is a mess, is because this guy's not really that smart. And, you know, because the movie knows you don't really need a villain. You could just have the dinosaurs be, like, the dinosaur situation is the villain. But, yeah, this movie, like, invents evil Steve Jobs, but doesn't make him evil. But, yeah, so he's just there. It's really stupid.
I couldn't tell. Were they trying to make him like Elon Musk? With his fucking hyperloop and
the word hyperloop.
General incompetence.
The last movie was Elon Musk. Remember? The guy who had good intentions but now only cares about money, who works in, like, science, named Eli Mills. Remember him?
I feel like this one was supposed to be Steve Jobs just because of the look of the guy. Or maybe, like, Tim Cook. I don't know too much about him. But, I mean, maybe that's part of it. Maybe Apple was like, make the guy nicer, though. You can make him look like Steve Jobs, but he has to actually kind of be good, though. But, yeah, it feels so easy for BD Wong to just have been the only bad guy and that be the thing. Like, but now, we got this one instead. Lucky us. We deserve it. Way to go.
We deserve this movie for our sins.
Yeah. Oh, man. All right, you guys want to get to our classic segment?
Oh, boy, howdy do I.
All right, let's do it. DJ, do you have anything to recommend to the fine people?
I do. I feel like a Johnny-come-lately with this rec, but not because any of the jamokes on this podcast refuse to rec it, just because it's been out there for a while and it's been just like recognized as kind of cool. But I do want to recommend Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow. You sound like really disappointed in me.
That part of me had thought you had already recommended that, but that's probably just because we've talked about it.
No, I just saw it like this past weekend, which was a great in-theater movie experience. So yeah, the hype is real. I'm totally Tom Cruise pilled. Top Gun was freaking awesome.
You know what?
I wish
Scientology's not so bad now.
Well, so I got a weird like theory on this, but I'll get to that after I talk about the movie. So I don't know how this movie would have been affected if I didn't just watch the original Top Gun, but like you could watch this movie without seeing the original Top Gun. I feel like they put enough in there, and it's enough of like somehow its own thing, because like it's not about like Maverick, it's not about him. It's about like Tom Cruise. Like
right.
At this point, the movie, and I feel like Mission Impossible is doing this too. It's like, well, it's Tom Cruise, right? Like, yeah, he's this other guy, but he's Tom Cruise. Like, you know who that is, and he's that in this too. But it's great. Like the movie, like weirdly succeeds in like making me care about like the characters and like what's going on, and actually has like an interesting plot, and the love interest is cool, and it doesn't feel overwritten. Like, it's actually just, like, a legitimate, like, good movie, which is very surprising. And that comes to my theory. Does Tom Cruise just make certified bangers now? Like, he had his weird dip in, you know, like, whatever, mid-2000s with the whole Katie Holmes thing on Oprah, and that was weird. And there was Scientology. I know he's still, like, a Scientologist, but I feel like it's not maybe like as core like who he is, but like it's like Tom Cruise like cool now.
No,
like he greeted me.
What about what happened
no,
to the Dark Universe? Did we all forget? He made the dumbest movie and like one of the worst like dull movies to start a universe, and he sat in a chair with all the actors they photoshopped. Like I feel like that never comes up, and it's a movie completely, not completely, but very very clearly derailed by his directing, like wanting to direct the movie also. And like his being a control freak.
So touche to Dark Universe, touche. But I don't know. Besides that, like I don't know.
Listen, it
like because
isn't Top Gun like also Chris McQuarrie, right? The guy who makes the Mission Impossible movies.
He wrote it. He was one of the screenwriters for this.
Yeah, so maybe it's just he's good, and he happens to work with Tom Cruise a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. I'd buy that. But, like, Tom Cruise, well, so at the beginning of the movie, he does, like, the Tom Cruise thing. It's like, he's smiling. He's like, thank you so much for coming to see this in a movie theater. It's so glad that you're here inside of a movie theater to see this. And you know what? I didn't hate it. I'm like, you're welcome, Tom Cruise. I appreciate this.
Okay, here's some Tom Cruise stuff in case we're not sold. So we did those Jack Reacher movies, which everyone says are dull.
Okay.
So these are his last 4 movies, too. Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. No, sorry, 5. Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. The Mummy. American Made. Remember that? It's like a drug or like a weapons dealer or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
Mission Impossible Fallout, Top Gun Maverick. So, like, out of those, 2 of them are very good. Probably. I haven't seen Maverick, but I'll take everybody's word for it.
Like, 2 of them are certified bangers. It's like more than very good.
Yeah, but
like Mission Impossible Fallout is like amazing.
He doesn't only make certified bangers. He has made 2. He has made 2 certified bangers in a row. I think Dead Reckoning, Mission Impossible,
in a row, sure. But like
banger.
all those later day Mission Impossible movies are great.
Yeah, and the only things besides that he has his Jack Reachers, he has Night and Day, Oblivion, and then like Edge of Tomorrow, Rock of Ages. So like one of those is good, but he also has things he's got coming up. 2 Mission Impossible movies, which is the one that they split in half. Live, Die, Repeat sequel, and then Untitled Tom Cruise / SpaceX project. So, worried about that. Yeah, they're filming the first movie in space.
I feel like I'm being gaslit every time someone says Live, Die, Repeat.
Yeah.
I saw that movie in theaters. I know it's Edge of Tomorrow. Don't lie to me.
So here's the thing. On IMDb, currently on his like IMDb page, Edge of Tomorrow is the name of that movie. This one is called Live, Die, Repeat, and Repeat. So that is the name of the sequel, which isn't going to make any sense, but that is what the movie is. So there you go.
I will say this, and again, I'm not trying to like stand Tom Cruise like super hard, But I will say this:
just,
I feel like
he personally helped remove all the thetans from you, and save you from being tossed into a volcano by Lord Xenu, and you're just grateful to him for that.
DJ's a big fan of cult leaders who, the leader of the cult that's not him kidnaps the guy's wife, and she disappears. DJ appreciates that. He approves of it.
They make like such good documentaries, though. Listen, if thetans are what make Tom Cruise like make these movies, then yeah, fuck it. Like, thetan me up, baby.
No, it's the lack of thetans.
There's something going on.
He doesn't have thetans.
All right, whatever. All right, well, then take all of mine out of me. Like, whatever has to happen. I don't know. I'm very persuadable, apparently. I will say this, in terms of Tom Cruise. I think the turning point for me was when he did Tropic Thunder, when he did that like Les Grossman role. That for me was just like pure perfection.
Tropic Thunder was
and
great.
Like he got in the fat suit and he did the ridiculous role, and I'm like, this is good. This is like a good thing. And like, I don't know, ever since then I just feel like he's turned for me in a good way. Like, I'm not saying he's a good person. He's probably a terrible person. I know but also he, like, I don't know. I know there was that story where like he yelled at everyone for not wearing a mask, and I'm like, at least this guy gets it. Like, maybe his methods are bad, but he fucking gets it.
That's the most sympathetic story about Tom Cruise that's ever come out.
Yeah, for sure.
So, I don't know, man. I'm slightly a Tom Cruise pill. So, but that aside, Top Gun Maverick's good. The one thing I will say about this movie, like my one thing that as I was watching this, I'm like, it's like John Hamm's in it. And I know I texted you guys after. I'm like, do we still like John Hamm? Because I couldn't like figure it out. Not that he's like bad in the movie, but he's just like the most okayest performance. And I'm like, I was just like questioning whether or not John Hamm was ever good. Not as a person, as an actor. I couldn't.
Yeah, I mean, as a person,
square that.
Determined he lit some guy on fire or something once in college. So weird. But I don't know. I think he's great in comedies. I love him in 30 Rock and all those things he'll drop in very casually.
Right.
And Mad Men is good. Like
yeah.
So I like him, except for the guy lit on fire. But everything else is pretty solid.
Listen,
in this movie,
DJ, what do you think he is? A woman who was popular briefly? We don't just turn on him.
Yeah.
So I will say this: in Top Gun Maverick, he plays like the grizzled admiral who is like the foil to Maverick. Right? Maverick breaks all the rules, and John Hamm is like a rule follower. I'm like, was there a better casting for that than John Hamm?
Maybe.
Like, maybe that's just like was off for me, but it's fine. Like, Ed Helms is a grizzled veteran in it, but only for like a second. He's like Maverick's commanding officer before Maverick gets like sent to Top Gun again, and it's like, wait, Ed Helms, maybe you should have been the John Hamm because you seem like pretty good at this.
Well, yeah,
not Ed Helms. I'm a fucking moron. Ed. Oh my god, why can't I? I'm doing the Kurt Russell Crowe thing.
Like,
okay, but you're doing it with who?
It's not Ed Helms. It's not the guy from The Hangover. It's
Is it the one from like Apollo 13 and stuff?
Yeah,
is it that Ed? Ed Harris?
Yes, Ed Harris. Okay. Jesus.
Yeah, that made more sense.
Oh no, we have another one. We have Ed Harris and Ed Helms. No,
very frequently mistaken for each other. That one I think is more reasonable. Well, I think my thing with him, I do think maybe John Hamm. I think John Hamm is great, but I could see in this role he's kind of miscast as like the opposite of Tom Cruise because he just doesn't have as big of a personality maybe as Tom Cruise does to balance that out. I do think he's fun. I mean, I'm excited for this movie just because I've been a big fan of Glenn Powell's ever since Scream Queens, and I hear he really takes the cake on this one.
And crushes.
Yeah.
I'm just really excited to see Tom Cruise start a war with Iran.
No, someone else. Who knows who? Country.
Yeah,
X.
It's unclear. This movie could be played in any country because whoever the bad guy is, you just imprint that bad guy onto the bad guy of this movie.
Yeah.
Like, no joke.
And like, digitally replace a couple flags.
No, that's the thing. So, like, not like spoilers or whatever, but there's no flags. There's like the helmets are just like full helmets covering them in the cockpit. So, and it like the place is like a mountain. Like it looks like it's Maine. So it could be anywhere that has like a snowy mountain region. So yeah,
it's pretty genius.
Yeah, I mean, now it can be used as propaganda against any of our enemies.
Exactly.
That's the end game. I don't know. Like I would say if like you're on the fence about this movie, go see it. It is legitimately heartwarming, legitimately good. It's like it's not a piece of shit.
And also,
I would
DJ's
highly recommend it.
place of employment is heavily invested in its success, so, you know.
Excuse me, good sir. I do not work for the United States Navy, so I feel like I have no dog in this dogfight.
That's true. We learned there are different navies and stuff. They're different things.
Yeah.
Roasted.
Yep.
True.
Very upsetting. There should only be one. And they should...
In fact, go Army, beat Navy.
Yeah.
So the fact that I do like this movie is like, you know, I shouldn't hate it because it's related to the Navy, and I'm supposed to hate the Navy or whatever.
I think the only people who should hate it for reasons of being in the military is the Air Force, because it's bullshit that the Navy gets the aircraft carrier planes.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, that's fair criticism. Yeah.
What about you, Diggins? You got anything to recommend to the fine people?
Oh, boy, do I. I did so much this week where I was traveling to upstate New York for most of it. I did so many things that I can recommend to people now. It's just so many of them.
Specific places to send people?
No.
Go to a park?
I was with family. I didn't do things. I watched a couple shows, which I've only watched a couple episodes of each, but for the sake of having something to rec, I'll throw a rec on both of them because I did enjoy what I saw. First one is Ms. Marvel. It's pretty fun. I enjoyed it.
Did you watch both of them or just the one?
Just the one. I'm going to watch the other one probably tomorrow. It's pretty fun, pretty cool, pretty good. Definitely, I think it's more visually inventive than a lot of these things have been. It feels distinct in a way that's not like Marvel movie but smaller, which I appreciate. I think the lead actress has a really good energy. She feels like a teenager who likes superheroes, which is cool because that's what she should be. It's funny to see how much they have to stretch how little anyone on Earth has ever seen or cared about Captain Marvel for that to be like the hero she loves.
Yeah, well, it's weird. I was talking to somebody about this, right? Like, so do we have any idea what she was doing during the blip? If she was like hanging out on Earth or whatever? Doesn't seem like it, right?
It seemed like she was everywhere, right?
It's kind of implied she did some things because she's part of that council for a little bit in Endgame.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I guess that's true. And she's like, I'm in space now, and I can't be on Earth. And that's like something that happens 5 years later. So maybe she has hung out on Earth a lot. One thing I think is really weird, and I'm sure this would happen, but the posters in like Kamala's room are from Miss Marvel, like promotional art from the first movie in a suit she does not wear in the present day. Like, even when she comes back in Avengers Infinity War or Endgame in the very beginning to kill Thanos, her suit has like a gold trim. It's very specifically different. So I don't understand how this took off, because it should be the blue on top, red on bottom costume that she wears in Endgame, if anything. But it's not, and it's weird.
Yeah. Well, the answer is whatever. Just don't think about it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. They're doing a real Flash Thompson instead of the bad fake one that was in the Spider-Man MCU movies. Which I appreciate. You know, you might as well watch it now before it ends and the ending is inevitably bad.
Yeah, I was going to say, just, temper your expectations. We will see.
Well, watch it now where you can watch everything that's available and be like, that was good, instead of when it ends and you watch all of it and was like, that ended real bad. I also watched another show on Netflix, an animated show called Inside Job.
Is that any good?
Yeah, it's not bad. It's made by one of the writers of Gravity Falls, which is a show I love. So that was a good in for me. The basic premise is it's basically about someone who works for the Illuminati, the secret conspiracy that controls the world on the behest of some shadowy robed figures. And it's
with Reed Richards?
No. And Black Garboltagon, Keeper of the Terrigen Mists.
No, this is
King of
after
the Inhumans.
Scarlet Witch killed all of them, so these are the new people.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's kind of like workplace sitcom, but the workplace is the Illuminati, which is actually an idea I had and started writing several years ago, but whatever. I mean, it's not an original idea, so obviously it's just someone beat me to it. But yeah, it's fun. It's a funny show. I think it's pretty neat. Yeah, I'm running out of steam here because it's hot in my apartment. So how about Nando? Why don't you move on to your recs?
I got some recs. So first rec, I watched the Nicolas Cage movie this week. The one where him and Pedro Pascal just fuck around for most of it.
The
I thought it was
unbearable
fun.
weight of massive talent.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it was good. I think it was funny, and I liked it.
It is a good
I like
movie.
Pedro Pascal.
I like Nick Cage.
Love Nick Cage. And Nick Cage was great in it.
Together, you and I are this movie.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I think I don't know. I think it's an interesting. Yeah, I think it's a fun concept as far as what it I think it's a good balance of Nicolas Cage is a shithead, but Nicolas Cage is still kind of cool as the basis for the first version of the first act version of this character, where it's yeah, he's a disaster, but he was still in these movies that people like, and it's kind of fun. More celebrities should do that, where you do a movie about you where you play the worst version of yourself. I always love that. Other things to rec. I have watched the first 2 of Miss Marvel. I think it's good. I watched. I'm loving The Boys. Episode 4 is phenomenal, and
I still gotta watch.
This season has created already so many fun songs because one of the superheroes was in a boy band. So the song "License to Drive" is A, super catchy, and B, just really funny because it's about him being we can hook up now in my car because you're 16. Back when he was 16, but he still has to sing it now, and it's very funny. Anyway, love that.
Certified banger. Yeah,
it's a really good song. But the other thing I want to rec that I think is a new thing that I'm oh yeah, this is definitely worth recking. That is cool. And I had heard about it. I think in a live stream, people were talking about it. It's a show called For All Mankind. Have either of you guys seen this?
Oh, I've heard about this. Yeah, this is that Cold War show, right?
Kind of. It starts that way. And that's the pitch. It's on Apple TV Plus. They just started the 3rd season, although I'm not there yet. But I'm under the what's the word? Impression that they time skip pretty quickly to fill out the story so that it's telling a long story, because that's how long it takes to do. If we wanted to go to Mars, it would take a while, and you could just skip the parts where they build the rocket. But it's a show. The pitch is, what if the Soviets got to the moon before we did, won the space race, and then we were no, you didn't. There's actually more space race, and we really invested in NASA and made that big part of the government. How would that change the world if we really went in on going to different planets and stuff? And especially if the military got its little fingers in it. It's oh, we don't want the Soviets to take over the moon with guns. We should get there and do something similar. I'm not sure that's what's going to happen, but something like that's going to happen. Joel Kinnaman is the main character. Love him in it. Very tall, way too tall for the show. Too tall for all shows, to be honest. Makes everybody else look little. Sometimes they have him hunch over on in a chair, and it looks it just looks silly. But he's
Evan Hansen.
Cool. Yeah, honestly, he's just a really tall dude. And he always has to have really flat hair, because if they gave him any volume, it would be unbelievable. I enjoy it.
If you had to set a height limit for all people, what would you set it at?
I mean, definitely my height. But if I had to set one for actors, it would be 6'2" is the most. He might be 6'2", to be fair. Let's see. Joel Kinnaman height. First thing people search for. Oh, he's 6'2". Okay, so a little less than that. I'd say 6 foot. That would be my height.
I've always said that anything over 6 feet any inches over 6 feet is just showing off.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's true. It's all excess.
He's a very tall man. So I would recommend that show. I think it's a lot of fun. Next week, speaking of space, we're doing Lightyear. Yeah.
And beyond.
For all mankind and toy kind.
That's right.
And whatever.
It's the adventure movie from the 70s or 80s that inspired the cartoon, that inspired the toy, that inspired Andy.
Yeah. So funny. I can't wait.
All those things make sense.
I mean, I'm genuinely excited, kind of, a little bit, because I've heard maybe it's good. But we will see.
I'm still mad
can't be worse
the
than
robot's
this.
Not there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe you want to build to it. I don't know. The fact that Zurg is in it at all is pretty wild. But yeah, that robot XR is my boy. Do we have anything to plug, DJ? Anything to plug to the fine people?
Yeah, so the usual Roses and Rejections. The next episode we're doing The Quest, which I think I've talked about before, the kind of hybrid reality show with like a sci-fi spin. So look out for that. And then we'll be doing a preview of The Men for the upcoming season of The Bachelorettes, because we got 2 this season. So that
finally show about men for the fellas.
Wait, you're going to do a preview of Men, the movie by Alex Garland?
Oh yeah, we're super hype on Men.
Would you say that these men normal? Are they innocent?
I would say they're normal, innocent men. Yeah, just normal men. And then I was actually on the Pop Break, the Socially Distanced podcast, talking about the 4th episode of Obi-Wan, which I know is a bit like dated at this point since the 5th one came out. But if you hadn't seen it, check out. I kind of give my overall Obi-Wan thoughts. And I mean, I don't know if we're going to do Obi-Wan on this podcast at some point, but I got some takes.
I think we should.
I got some takes. I think we should as well.
'Cause I hate
Anytime we do Star Wars stuff, it as well. How can we know if we hate it when it hasn't even ended yet?
That's true.
You're right.
So many things could happen.
These Disney Plus shows are always saved by their ending, so don't even worry about it.
Luke Skywalker hasn't
Episode
showed up
6.
in CG. Well, I guess Luke Skywalker has showed up in child form, but who
Yeah,
could show up in CG form? That's
Has there been the episode that's just an episode of The Mandalorian yet?
yeah. No, we haven't gotten that yet. Maybe that's what
Can't
the
wait.
finale is.
So that's all my plugs.
Yeah, no, I mean, I don't hate it. I kind of don't like it, but
I hate it.
Well,
like
unless
they bring in Cal Kestis for episode 6, which would be amazing. By the way,
totally could. Episode 5, I think, is superior to episode 4.
By comparison,
but yeah, I think
won't
episode
be-
4 blows.
I won't be happy until they bring back Glub Shido.
Diggins, do you have anything to plug?
Oh, yeah, I got my usuals. I have my newsletter, a little perspective.substack.com, and I stream sometimes at twitch.tv/thisisanodname. And also, I haven't written it yet, but by the time this podcast comes out, you can probably read my review of the 2nd episode of Ms. Marvel on the Pop Break.
oh yeah, I heard you're covering that.
I mean, just the one episode. They like to get a lot of people for these Marvel shows.
Hey, they want a diverse set of voices of different white guys talking about Miss Marvel. I get that, you know.
Get destroyed.
It's like
Pop
it's like how
Break, the
Gizmodo
place
got the
suit.
specific what is it, like South Asian correspondent for it. Pop Break gave all the white guys one episode. No, I'm kidding. I'm sure they didn't do that.
Two-thirds of this podcast works for it, so you know.
I mean, works loosely. Occasionally I write something when they ask me to.
Cool. I was gonna say I have video that just went out, like not just went out, but like last week. The Wolverine casting video, which is great. A lot of people watched it. That's cool. I'm gonna be doing my other video for this month is going to be my pitch for what the 4th Spider-Man movie, like in the MCU Spider-Man movie will be. So it's like just one that I think would be fun. So that's great. That's going to be very good. I think people will like it. The other thing is it's like a horizontal plug. YouTube friend Patrick Willems has made a feature film based off of the characters that exist in the narrative of his videos, and that narrative that you can watch on Nebula. That is, I was at the premiere last night, and it is pretty fun, especially if you know what's going on in those videos. If you don't, I would definitely say watch at least a couple of them so you can get a sense for it. But I had a really good time with it. I think it's crazy that it exists, and I am teeny tiny part of one of the teeny tiny scenes. So you can see my face for a second in it. But overall, as a thing, it's quite fun.
How would you say it stacks up against all the times Nostalgia Critic made a movie-length video where all his characters show up?
I've never watched them, but I've watched a bunch of videos about those movies by YouTubers who hate them, and same thing with, like, that's the thing. I don't know too much about him. I don't know too much about Angry Video Game Nerd, but I've watched so many videos about those guys that I feel like I know that they're not good, but I don't know why.
I feel like Angry Video Game Nerd is like his influence on internet culture was maybe not so hot, but it's still cool to like him. But Nostalgia Critic, woof.
Yeah, no, I forget who had a couple people. I think Ralph the Movie Maker made a good video about Nostalgia Critic. Sarah Zed made a good video about Nostalgia Critic. But yeah, I've yet to watch a thing they have produced. So it's better than that, though. It's better than fucking Jurassic Park for sure. Like I'm trying to think of
Hard
things
not
to
to be.
compare it to. Yeah, all the movies in my periphery. But yeah, no, it's fun. So that's on Nebula, the streaming platform that all the videos go on and stuff. So definitely look up that. Next week, Lightyear, the movie based on the toy thing, whatever, those four things, whatever. What was it, Diggins? One more time.
The 70s or 80s sci-fi movie that inspired the cartoon, that inspired the toy, that inspired Andy.
Love it. Get ready to be inspired, everybody. Until then, I have been at Nando V Movies on Twitter.
I am at Zippy by Day.
I've been at This Is an Odd Name.
Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye.
Woohoo!
Bye, we love you.